Don't worry.
Jesus, you were gonna kill that guy!
Of course, I'm a Terminator.
Listen to me very carefully, okay? You're not a Terminator anymore, alright? You got that?
Last week we talked about James Cameron's 1984 sci-fi action film, The Terminator. This week we're talking about Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Starring Linda Hamilton, Edward Furlong, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Robert Patrick, and Joe Morton. Also with an appearance by Linda Hamilton's sister Leslie Hamilton as Sarah Connor's T-1000 twin and body double. One of the rare sequels that many people have often pointed to as even better than the first one. Along with Aliens, which James Cameron made between Terminator 1 and 2. Terminator 2 evolves around figuring out what you do once you know what the future holds, or at least could potentially hold. A decade after a Terminator was sent from the future to kill Sarah Connor, who was saved by her baby daddy Kyle Reese, who sacrificed himself to kill the Terminator.
We are now 2 years before Cyberdyne's Skynet program gained sentience.
On August 29, 1997, and launches strikes that will plunge the human race into their post-apocalyptic future. Sarah Connor is trapped in a mental institution being watched over by a sadistic psychiatrist. Sarah's son John Connor is in foster care with Xander Berkeley as his foster dad. In 2029, the future, John Connor is sent a jailbroken Terminator T-800 back in time to protect himself in the past, while Skynet has sent an improved T-1000 that's made out of a liquid substance that can turn into anything back in time to kill John Connor in 1995. James Cameron compared this good version of the T-800 to the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the most enthusiastic about doing a Terminator sequel.
You always have a responsibility to do the best job possible, and I think that we were very successful in doing that with this movie. I think that Jim Cameron wrote the best screenplay. I think that the movie turned out to be, like people have said already, much better even than the first one, if that's even possible. But he made it possible because he really went all out. And with the special effects, he went all out with the actors, with the directing, and with all those things. So I think people are going to be really surprised at this one. And like we've already read some of the reviews, that this is the true hit of the summer.
Although James Cameron considered the first one a complete story, he was eventually convinced to do one after the failing Hemdale Film Corporation was forced to sell their rights to Carolco Pictures, which had made Total Recall with Arnold. In order to recoup the investment, a sequel had to be made by Memorial Day 1991, written by James Cameron and William Wisher, giving Arnold a new catchphrase, "Hasta la vista, baby."
Hasta la vista, baby.
Which is what James Cameron and William Wisher would sign off on the phone with. They envisioned Terminator 2 Judgment Day as an unconventional family film, whereas Terminator 1 had been a slasher film. Unlike the first Terminator, where Arnold doesn't really infiltrate anything as an infiltrator droid, the T-1000, played by Robert Patrick, who was living in his car at the time of his casting, is a police officer because the idea is that a police officer would be the most likely to blend in, and he really does considering how many cops are in this movie.
They wanted to know, how did I think that I would come up out of the floor? So I remember them putting like a Mylar blanket over the top of me and coming up, almost like a flower and just...
The T-800 became more human over time, which is the way that Cameron and Wisher decided to make it threatening, but also good. Arnold didn't like the non-lethal directive of the character, as this was the peak of his action hero stardom. The $6.4 million budget from the Terminator became a $60 million budget for this movie, which then became a $95 to $102 million budget by the time all the marketing was done. Famously, Arnold Schwarzenegger's salary was paid by buying him a Gulfstream III jet. Filming was expensive enough and Arnold's clout was enough that Arnold had to actually cancel a trip with George H.W. Bush to Saudi Arabia to visit the troops to finish filming. And James Cameron managed to get the Terminal Island Highway closed for 2 weeks of filming.
LAPD's SWAT team was brought in to film scenes at Cyberdyne headquarters.
By the end of marketing, Terminator 2 was the most expensive movie ever filmed at that time, which paid off when it became the highest grossing film of 1991 and the third highest grossing of all time at that time.
Son of a bitch! You shot me! He'll live.
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/Movie Night Extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective. YouTube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. Forrest and Kristina have a second show, The Absurdity Space, live on This Space on Wednesdays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Sean McGrath is an actor, writer, co-creator of CineQuote, and a co-host of Unkind Rewind, a podcast inspecting film nostalgia. I, of course, am your host, who is here to terminate all of y'all, Forrest Miller. I'll be back.
It's crazy that we've not done this movie. Like, this is like one of the biggest movies of all time, as far as I'm concerned. It's like, I guess
movies of all time. You just say hit the summer.
And maybe I'm just showing my age, right? Like, being in high school when this came out. Very close to Eddie Furlong's age, I might add. But yeah, when we talked about this being Blockbuster Month, it was like, hell yeah, let's do Terminator 2. Absolutely.
I mean, it's kind of awesome. Like,
by the way, welcome back, Sean.
Yeah, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back, guys. We're going to be discussing a movie that more than 11 people saw this time.
I know, right? We do that. I mean, it's, especially this month.
I'm kind of surprised T2 wasn't your first movie, as you were talking about that. I mean, it would have been a great one to launch a podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The podcast. No, but it's kind of crazy to begin this month talking about first the Terminator and now Terminator 2, obviously even bigger than
2 James Cameron films,
and then ending the month with Titanic. And I feel like those are some of the biggest movies for an entirely different demographic of people. But also James Cameron, big, huge hits.
So this is Blockbuster Month / James Cameron.
Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and Titanic. We have the Odyssey, and then we fit in Backrooms just because we want Renee back on, which it's kind of it's Blockbuster adjacent. Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Backrooms is like an indie blockbuster hit. We gotta throw in an indie blockbuster hit in there.
That's why we did it. We didn't just arbitrarily put it on the calendar.
And yesterday,
we also didn't do this so that Conan could finally watch Titanic, right?
Yeah, Sean, do you know the conceit of this? I've never seen the movie Titanic. Spoiler alert: I know that the ship sinks.
What? Why would you say that? I've only seen it. You don't know, Conan. It might not hit the iceberg and sink this time when we watch it. You never know.
Yeah, you really should drop a spoiler alert for people who haven't caught up on their 1912 news.
I'm like the last person in the world to see this movie, and it's been a long-standing bit that said I would only do it if it was like for the show, because at this point it would be like, all right, that at least might be interesting because I've have a lifetime of cinematic journeys and seeing so many other types of movies and things along those nature that's like, oh, okay, well, will I bring something new to it? I don't know, probably not, but we're gonna do it.
Hey, at a certain point,
you know what Titanic and 9/11 have in common?
What's that?
James Cameron was exploring the Titanic during when 9/11 was going on. Bill Paxton had to let him know, hey, Jim, we're under attack.
Oh man. Yeah.
And he's like, I knew it, the giant squid. And they're like, no, it's the.
So he was filming the actual Titanic, right? Because like the movie had been out.
Yeah, the movie was out.
He was doing actually, I think
he was doing
a documentary, I think, about
Titanic
or something like that.
No, I think he was doing that deep sea series where he took his submarine down there and he was like exploring the bottom where the Titanic is and exploring he's exploring everything really. I mean, we know more about space than we do about the bottom of the ocean. So
right, and that's kind of like the whole point of The Abyss, right? Which is it's a movie basically about space travel, but it's underwater.
Yeah, and alien, but sea.
Props to James Cameron for figuring out a thing that a lot of people have figured out, which is how can I monetize the thing that I'm literally already doing?
Right. Yeah,
it's just he just likes doing it.
How can I monetize my hobby?
Doing the sea exploration, and like with Terminator 2, it's like how could he have topped the first Terminator movie, right? And he did.
Well, yeah, and
two great sequels.
Right, and so when you mentioned in the intro, Forrest, about it being one on this list of sequels that are do something different and are as good or better than the original, Aliens. Right, Aliens changed, exactly, right, and we talk about that right after the Terminator, which is more of a slasher movie in the style of Halloween, and
which has to be the reason that when they actually reached out to James Cameron to be like, look, we're doing this with or without you. He's like, all right, I've at least done this for. I mean, not that he directed Alien, but it's like I've at least done this for a crazier, a crazy franchise that changed everything. I could do this again.
Something that people were being like, that's, you can only lose. There's no way that you can win doing this. You don't do it. And he did. And it changed. Honestly, it defined, unfortunately, that that franchise. But franchise filmmaking and, blockbuster movies for a decade.
He's in the back rooms.
Yeah, I'm in Guantanamo Bay.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, so it defined blockbuster movies for at least a decade, and then he managed to one up it with this. Because and the reason why I was immediately just coming with my personal experiences with it is because it is hard to overstate how big this movie was when it came out.
Yeah,
and additionally, the nadir of the first run, not the bringing it back of physical media. This was they released this so many times. There was the special edition, there was the extra special edition, there was the ultra edition, and each one. This is also the era of features, extra attendant content, right?
Did they put Michael Biehn back into the special edition?
I don't even remember and then there was these and you have to remember this is early 90s internet, which did exist, but it was the nerdiest of the nerds.
Yep,
and there was this kind of which one is the best version, right? Which still just carried itself over to Reddit and what have you today. But it is what I'm bringing that up is we kind of got used to that, but this is the movie that really was this was the apex of that. But it also was a great movie. This is a movie that, I mean, Sean, I think we're around the same age. It was kind of tailor-made for people like us to a certain degree, right?
Yeah, and definitely it needs to be pointed out that when we talk about the greatest or the highest grossing movies of all time, we're almost always talking about PG-13 and below. For this to be hard R and still make the type of money it did, knowing that kids who saw this were sneaking in. They were buying tickets
100%.
to, the Fox and the Hound 2 or whatever the hell was going on that you could get an easy ticket to.
All dogs go to heaven.
Which is funny because it's not that like I'm not
just the violence.
I'm not saying like kids should, you should strap your kids down and make them watch Terminator 2 or that, it's a perfectly acceptable movie. But it's not that, there's a lot of violence, but the violence even is kind of Looney Tunes-esque. Like it's not.
Yeah. And
there
again,
are some things. We can talk about like the violence for a while here, but I think like when you get into like skull and brain impalements, it ups
it's
the
pretty
violence level.
It's pretty rough. Now I need to be clear, I've already seen RoboCop at this point, so it was already over for me, right? But I right, exactly, a little bit, but this is even even Jurassic Park is PG, right? And that was a couple years later, but
I'd be shocked if that's PG. I think that's PG-13 because of
it's PG-13. I want to
say
that was one of the first big blockbusters I remember watching.
Well,
but the point of this is that with Terminator 2 is like this was a new echelon of the hard R blockbuster. Like this was like something where it was a phenomenon. And I talked a bit about we did Vampire Mother, talked about Bram Stoker's Dracula and how that was in its way, but this was like on a radically different, on a way that I'm not even sure if we could have anymore. But it was like it was the immersion level of the Avengers without the backlash.
Yeah.
I'm not the only way I can really say it, and that's not even right, but it was like Arnold was already a star. But I mean, he was just
a Predator,
of course, and Commando.
Yeah. Well, Predator came out, pretty much exactly between the Terminator, and Terminator 2. So that's like, because it's 87, right? So it's like right in between the two, kind of. And Total Recall obviously comes out.
So what I was trying to say, though, was actually getting at was that he already had a star-making turn, but this is absolutely what made him an icon. Like a worldwide icon, like not a movie star. He already was one of those, but this was like immersed into the pop culture, like like in the water, practically. Which of course, unfortunately, led to his political aspirations. We will not speak of.
I mean, also too, two films with iconic lines. I'll be back and hasta la vista, baby. People forget. I'm like, no, that's from the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, come with me if you want to live. It's Kyle Reese in the first one. It says it, and then it's a callback to the first one in this one.
Well, I bring up Total Recall to say that Mario Casar, who is one of the worst movie moguls ever because he went bankrupt really, really quickly, but he overpaid all of his. He was like, let's get the big talent. Big talent was his marquee kind of thing, and he just blew pretty much all of his money on the big talent, including giving Arnold like a Gulfstream 3 for this movie. But
which ended up being a good investment because this movie, made more money than
producing
the GDP of multiple countries.
Producing Terminator 2 and then going bankrupt is
how do you?
Feat.
He went bankrupt. The company went bankrupt by 95. So 4 years after this, and the restructuring I think happened in 92 or 93. So this was kind of this is their big moment. But I mean, you can see how this would be.
They squandered it for sure, though. I don't remember
He put it all into Beanie Babies, and the market just dropped
or something, right?
But before this, right? He had just made the same guy had just bet a huge amount and lost a huge amount on Total Recall. Not that Total Recall wasn't a big movie, but he paid so much money for salaries for these stars that he had.
Right, Total Recall had a big life in VHS and cable and after the fact. Like it was not a movie that it didn't hit as big as people think it did. It's probably
people saw the Colin Farrell remake and they're like, you know what, the original's better.
Shout out to Bobby Budnick from Salute Your Shorts for refusing to snitch on his friend Sean Connery in the movies.
That's right. We've learned nothing from Over the Edge is a kid that tells another kid is a dead kid, right? So there you go.
We need to vilify the bespectacled kid with the mullet, the curly mullet that pointed out John exactly where he was.
Yeah. Thanks, Snitch.
He's right there.
Yeah.
I love the little touch of John Connor being very good at military games.
Yeah.
He plays a few of them, and Missile Command and Afterburner 1 or 2 certainly are highlighting like the prodigious talent that he has that's going to be used later on.
That's from a rich tradition of like The Last Starfighter, which shows that if you're really good at video games, you can go and do that stuff in real life.
It's almost like he's also almost like a Napoleonic figure. I feel like for humankind, where it's like, even if the whole world is scorched below him, it's like he takes out all, like, there's a preternaturally good general. And then I feel like throughout history that happens a bunch of times, but it's like, there's like Genghis Khan, there's like Napoleon, there's these kinds of figures, and there's John Connor, who we see as a little kid in this movie going like, tell him like, eat my shorts or whatever, like eat a dick, like hasta la vista, dickwad, like.
Oh yeah, I mean the 90s slang lesson is a classic, right? But that's also when you think about what the difference between the Terminator versus T2 is. It really is it's a machine ostensibly financed humanity. And like having that middle ground, which makes it so much more intelligent than honestly most of the other franchise, but certainly anything that ripped it off, which is usually just hyper focused on the dehumanization aspect and the literal Skynet taking over like an actual reality.
On my birthday, by the way, fuck you, Skynet.
Well, it's interesting. People,
Skynet, because it's on my, I guess it was my third birthday, August 29th, 1997, and watching it, and I've watched Terminator 2 so like multiple times since I was a kid, and every time I'm like, really? August 29th?
You couldn't pick another day? You couldn't have waited a day? Yeah, thanks a lot.
So I lucked out and was able to see this in a theater in New York last week. It was playing at the McGrath. Packed house, really fun to see.
35th anniversary, right? Like, the
35th anniversary.
We planned that.
In the opening, you guys really coordinated this.
Yeah, we're really on it. Yeah.
When you wanted to do episode 1 of this show, and the idea was T2, Conan, you went no. We're gonna wait.
We're gonna wait.
We're gonna wait until the 35th anniversary.
Exactly 5 years.
Exactly. It almost was. Actually, the Terminator was exactly 5 years. You're right. Yeah.
But we get that great. We get that great pan of like human skull fields. And
there's more skulls this time too. There's more I guess nobody bothers cleaning up these skulls because they're all over the damn place, right?
There's
but
skulls. Yeah.
But it's so effective, even though it makes zero sense whatsoever. But it's so badass looking.
And the superimposed text pops up on the screen and it says Los Angeles 2029, and it got the biggest cheer from the New York City crowd.
Oh, it's not New York City, it's Los Angeles.
For T2,
New York City, exactly the same, actually.
There's two different things happening. In Los Angeles, it's the skull fields, and then in New York City, the Statue of Liberty is in the sand, and there's a bunch of apes running around.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go Escape from New York.
I was gonna go with Charlton Heston going, "You maniacs! You blew it up!"
To be listening at the door or in the lobby and hear just the entire crowd laugh uproariously in the beginning of Terminator 2.
T2, noted comedy Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's throughout this movie plays really well too, especially to a crowd.
Oh, which is why it's funny that it is like a rated R, because it's a family comedy. It's a rated R.
This can't be rated R. I'm laughing my ass off. Yeah.
But it's like a very good family comedy.
Movie about family.
In a you create your own family, right? Like you
exactly.
He's looking for a dad, and his dad ends up being the Terminator that he sends back. He even sending father figures back in time to himself. You really need.
Well, you know what's funny? People keep forgetting that originally, he's like the killer in the first one, but then he becomes more human.
He becomes woke.
Huh?
He becomes woke.
Yeah, basically. But it's interesting. People forget. It's kind of like when people forget that Pamela Voorhees was the original, Friday the 13th villain and not Jason. People forget, there's been so many of these freaking sequels, unfortunately, that people forget.
Well, and T2 is also
supposed to be what he originally was like without a heart.
Well, and of course they are different Terminators, to be clear. But Kristina, you bring up a good point that this is one of the again, the times where the sequel is so much bigger than the original one that a lot of people never even saw the original one or saw it way later or whatever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. You don't need to. Like you get it all pretty quickly and intelligently. And when you see like where Sarah Connor's at now, when you get everything you need to know for it. So it's almost like if you go back and watch The Terminator, then it's like almost a bonus. But
Yeah.
I remember at the time being like, because I definitely watched T2 first, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's good.
Well, and just like, I mean, who the hell calls it The Terminator? You know, it's like T1, T2. Like, I feel like
and that's thank the marketing department for that, right? But T2, everyone knew what you were talking about for sure.
Yeah,
and there was go ahead.
If you the thing that Kristina was talking about with like this being the progeny of a horror movie, of a slasher fic with the unkillable, never-ending slasher. The audience, if you don't really know the whole plot going into this, you very much feel like every biker in that bar is going to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we first are introduced, we are very much Sarah Connor when she's waiting for that elevator, because that's all she knows. She knows that this thing is a killer. There's no possible
thing to come out first and warn her, hey mom, this is the good one. He comes out.
I don't think that they knew she was waiting there. I mean, he has to go out front just in case there's security or whatnot. But like for that audience, we think everybody in that biker bar is dead, and we don't really get the dose of comedy until George Thorogood.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
Bad to the Bone. There are 3 songs in this movie. There's Bad to the Bone. There's Guitars and Cadillacs by Dwight Yoakam, which is when he comes in. And then there's, of course, GNR with You Could Be Mine. Other than that, the entire thing is scored. But like that's our first real dose, other than maybe the cocktail waitress giving a very impressed when she sees.
Yeah.
But
his
how
his eyes like doing like the the red like infrared thing where it's scanning everything, and then her eyes are like.
Well, it's like ectomorph, mesomorph. Like it like if you look on the scans, and this is something by the way I only picked up like a second or third time seeing it, where it's like it's like body types because he's scanning for their clothes, so it's like he's trying to find a body type match.
I like I think that's so underwear too. We got that this guy's wearing whitey tighties.
Yeah, exactly. It matters. Sean, I love that you saw it in a theater recently. I will say, atypically for movies like placed within this time period, I did not see this in a theater. I saw it on home video first and later DVD. So I've never seen Terminator 2 in a theater. And I think it would kill.
It's got to be great
in a theater. It's got to be amazing because even just like whatever. I got a nice system. I got like a TV that takes up an entire freaking wall and a nice sound system and what have you. But just like with an audience and what have you, that has to be.
I mean, the very first time that I saw this was like rented on like the Hotel Vision. Back when hotels would get movies like in between it leaving theaters and then going to home video, there was this like limbo gray area where a hotel could get it and they would charge you like $20 to rent it.
Yeah,
you could get these movies in the interim before they were released on video, and that was my first introduction to T2. And then of course, I think Conan, you mentioned you went back and watched T1 after this. Yeah, same thing for me. Like T1 was just not in my purview at all until this movie.
Yeah, and I think that also has to that's probably an age thing, right? Like we'd have to have been a little bit older to be able to, because I mean I was a horror movie devotee throughout all of high school, but it's like this is like whatever. This is like I was a little too young for any of that. And it's interesting just the cultural cachet of this and just how huge it was based off of what we talked about at length last week with The Terminator being a surprise hit, like making back 10 times its money out of what people just thought was a genre picture that had some hilarious knockoffs. So, there's a great Full Moon features knockoff of it that's like, oh wow, you just were trying to you thought this was just that, huh? Okay. But it's it is
always amazing to see like when somebody does knock something off like that. Like it's so incredible to see like what they thought that thing's essence.
It's usually far lamer than you ever could have imagined.
Yeah.
Too, where it's like, wow, you thought it was that?
Like
Okay.
I a lot of times, you know, like either Indian, like Bollywood cinema, or like, you know, Chinese cinema, like they'll recreate like something that, you know, which we do too with Chinese cinema a lot of times, right? Like Hong Kong cinema more than anything. Like
Yeah.
like it's funny when you see the differences and you try to see what like somebody in a different culture thought the essence of the film was.
Like those Ghanaian movie posters and whatnot, where it's like, oh,
Like well, I mean, but it's funny. Like sometimes the other side of it is funny, where like Scorsese focuses in on the rat in The Departed, that jumps up. That's the exact shot from Infernal Affairs.
You love Willard.
Yeah, exactly. Which once I saw Infernal Affairs again, the years later, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I thought Scorsese was a genius that came up with that one. Like,
yeah,
there were quite a few shots in Infernal Affairs that I'm like, oh, man, I thought Scorsese was like cooking with these, and it's like they come right out of the original.
So, and again, this is not a podcast about James Cameron, but it's just important to note that, you know, we're talking, you know, Aliens to Terminator 2 would have been enough, but you know, he also
Love to explore the sea.
I'm a big Abyss stan as well. I think Abyss is still really fantastic, and lucked out recently saw that on the big screen. But yeah, I mean, like he had, even if he, I mean, if he ends here, we talk about him lovingly. We, you know, he did no wrong. He did
nothing wrong.
You know, although he could have stopped right after the first Avatar, and I feel like he'd have an even greater reputation.
Yeah. Could have stopped before the first Avatar. Yeah.
He may have drank some of his own Kool-Aid that he made, but
the Avatar verse. Okay, anyway.
Very blue.
When they do the retrospective on James Cameron and they put together that montage, right? We're maybe using a clip or two of Avatar, and it's going to be pretty much random which 3 or 4 or 5 movies they pull from. The bulk of that retrospective is going to be Aliens, Terminator, T2, Abyss, Titanic. It's going to be those 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and it's crazy, you know, his Titanic fixation makes sense with like the rest of his career, right? Like space, and then kind of like robotics and AI, kind of like looking at human consciousness, and then like it makes sense why he would have gone there, especially after like the Abyss. But it's like it's such a different. I don't know. It feels like all of these films are like so different, including.
It's just so funny that like
are like completely different genres of sci-fi.
Yeah, he's would we consider him like the king of like a sci-fi almost?
Oh yeah, I would. I think he's up there. I mean, he's got to be just
the sci-fi blockbuster at least for sure.
Yeah.
Even if you cut out the Abyss, Aliens, Terminator 1 and 2, that's huge.
And Aliens, man. I mean, like again, the impossible mission of like, you know, like, you know,
what up, Ridley Scott?
Yeah, and then like, well, what are the ideas? Oh, what if we had 2 aliens? And James Cameron's like, hold my beer. You know, like, and to great effect. And honestly, I hate to say it, but a trick you can do once, right? Yeah. But like he did it, and it kind of kicks ass. Like it's pretty great.
Yeah. It's still crazy to me that when that whole Titan thing happened, they were like, let's ask James Cameron what happened. And he predicted what happened immediately. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm going to go down to the Mariana Trench, I'm going with James Cameron. I will not implode.
Yeah, that dude did like, yeah, exactly. He directs movies to fund his submarine habit.
He's really
exactly.
smart. Like the thing, and we'll probably talk more about this once we get through to the plot summary, just how dedicated he is to this universe. Especially like for these first 2 films.
Sure. So I had a second sense that's going to go with that. Was it like much as Alien to Aliens is a turnaround that you wouldn't expect, but like makes sense only after you've seen it. Terminator 2, Terminator 2. That's a really hard sentence to say. Is a turnaround in a way that you wouldn't have expected either. Like when you see this cold-blooded Michael Myers style technologically motivated killer, you don't think of him as being ostensibly the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, right? Like that would be the last thing you think of. But then also, if to do that, you have to make a threat that's so much more extreme than the original one was. And how do you one up that? And the liquid metal thing, right as the advent of that technology was like coming along in such a way to make that possible. I mean, we just never seen anything like that, which is crazy to think about. There's so much CGI everything. We talk about it all the time, right?
Yeah.
But there was nothing that looks better than stuff that came out this year.
And I believe we mentioned this in the Terminator episode of our T1 episode.
Stan Winston.
But Stan Winston. They had the idea to do the liquid metal thing in Terminator 1, and James Cameron, obviously with his background in special effects, and so Stan Winston worked to try to figure that out, and they're like, oh, the technology just isn't there.
The tech wasn't there yet. Yeah. And it makes sense, right, that we're, a couple years before, the nadir of it, which also sort of the last gasp of practical effects in blockbusters was Jurassic Park, which was actually a melding of the two. It wasn't strictly a CGI movie. There was a lot of actual physical hand model and tactile, and that's one of the reasons why none of those other movies work. It's not the only reason why, but it's a big reason why none of the rest of those movies. They just made dinosaurs boring.
No, Stan Winston thing around this time, people kind of praised it, which you got to look and see, are we going to be talking about generative AI this way at some point? But it's to his credit, I guess, Stan Winston, people talk about him, they're like, look, he did not recoil from CGI the way that many people in his profession did.
It had to be cutting edge, new.
Yeah. But he wasn't like we should do everything with CGI either.
No.
He had a balanced approach where it was like, I love practical effects. I'm the practical effects goat. Right. But if there is something that works that we can only do with CGI, I'm willing to do that.
Yep, that's I'm watching documentaries of him making films like Michael Jackson's short film Ghost. It's it had to be all cutting edge, all new, CGI that had been done with a lot of practical effects. But also, I've noticed that he died in 2008. I'm like, do you know when? That's kind of when I felt like CGI started to slowly.
It's the day the music died for special effects.
Yeah, I'm looking back and I'm like, what happened? And someone in my Twitch chat was like, Stan Winston died. That's what happened to CGI. I'm like, did he have anyone?
He was the guy that he was blocking the door of bad ideas, and then the bad ideas door swung open.
He was not doing finding proteges and successors to one up and do more cutting edge CGI because, like you said, Conan, they made aliens boring. They made dinosaurs boring. Everything is CGI now. So when I watch some of the newer alien movies, it's like, this is not scary because I know it's fake.
The Stan Winston School is still going strong though, and their YouTube channel, they're still updating it constantly with new narrations where they have over Stan Winston working.
But it's considered a niche art. It isn't something that every blockbuster filmmakers are using.
But it's the same thing with you could see generative AI coming as this giant thing where it's like,
George Lucas is embracing it now.
I mean, we have more of a cultural backlash to it because it sucks. But you do see, there are some people within the industry that are like, well, maybe we should embrace this. And I feel like there was that feeling in the practical effects community with CGI. They're like, this is gonna suck. This is, not all of them.
If you're taking your time with a good budget, it can be done. But you could tell these days they want to just pump movies out real fast and just not worry about, can we have cinematography look nice? Can we have color, shading? No, you're in yellow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'll start on the plot though. In 2029, Earth has been ravaged by the war between the malevolent artificial intelligence Skynet and the human resistance. Skynet sends the T-1000, an advanced shape-shifting prototype Terminator made of virtually indestructible liquid metal, back in time to kill resistance leader John Connor when he is a child. Just like, they did with baby Hitler. To protect John, the resistance sends back reprogrammed T-800 Terminator, a less advanced model with a metal endoskeleton covered in living tissue. Whack.
All right, so two things. First of all, the T-1000 adopting the identity of a cop, the visual identity of a cop, was very intentional and fraught in a good way. And this is, many years before ACAB, but we're talking about, Rodney King and what have you. This was he knew exactly what he was doing, making the sensible bad guy.
Is this Rodney King summer? Is 91 Rodney King summer?
I think
92. I think it was. We were on the cusp, but stuff was kind of boiling in Los Angeles at the time. I think
Rodney was not the first. I mean, Conan knows. It's not the first. It's not the first clash between LAPD and the black community that happened around this time that was about to boil over.
Yeah,
right. It had been bubbling under for many years to come, and there's a long and rich story behind that. That's not the story we're telling, but the usage of the Robert Patrick character, the T-1000, having him as the cop was very intentional and very effective and very timely because of that. And of course, we have the great scene that happens with Arnie, right? And you get that great. It's almost a redux of in the Terminator. With him getting the punk rock clothes from Bill and what have you, but it's again, if you know that scene, it turns it on its head because it's played entirely differently, but it's like a more up to date version of that, and in establishing the bona fides. If you don't know what this character is, this guy's no joke. Like this is this is some serious business. Like immediately,
yeah. There's also I noticed this watching through it again. There's this thing that being a cop allows you to do that no one else, like the cop goes up to the Xander Berkeley and his which is it's crazy that John Connor's foster dad is Xander Berkeley, but friend of show. But, like there's this thing that being a cop allows you to do. You can just go up to the door and say, hey, do you have a picture of your son, and can I keep this picture of your son? And they just give if anybody that wasn't a cop goes, hey, can I have a picture of your son? Everyone goes, no, you're like, who the fuck are you? But if you're a cop, they're like, well, he's clearly law enforcement. He's looking for our son. Our son must have done something wrong. He's a bad kid. So here's his picture. And it's like, there's no other job that they're just like, hey, can I get a picture? I mean, unless, your kid's missing or something, but.
So, Stevie in the chat, 1991 was when it happened. 92 was the verdict. That's right. It was March 91. I remember very much everything about it, all of that. But I mean, it would be, and people remember things like that, which are, of course, using comedy bits and things along those lines. But it was brutal, and it was something that the LAPD had been doing for years, and they just happened to get caught on camera this time, and it became a worldwide event. Like not even like a local event or even a U.S. event. It was a worldwide event.
At some point, they found Rodney King drowned in a pool, and nobody by then. Everyone was so kind of inured to no one even was like, hey, maybe someone killed Rodney King. Like this was kind of a big deal. At the time,
that T-1000 gets so much more access being a cop. It's the commentary about him being a bad guy is profound, but also
he's okay.
Yeah, he's constantly just asking people where John Connor is. I mean, there's those two teenage girls that for some reason seem to know that he's at the Galleria. We never have to see him like the T-800 hotwire a car, rip off the ignition casing of a car because he just takes a police car.
Yeah, well, because police is people just assume that police as an authority figure, well, he must be doing something policey.
There is a very funny little moment that it's kind of atypical for the T-100 or T-1000. It's after the LA River explosion, and there's EMTs and there's fire engines and whatnot. But he goes to take a car, and he does this little
mm-hmm.
And it's the only time we really see him kind of concerned about how it looks, like the perception of him taking this car.
I mean,
otherwise, there's that after the Pescadero State Hospital, that poor considerate bike cop, God bless him.
I know.
That his last words were checking on the status of a fellow officer.
Yeah. This immediately gets got, and what's going to happen because this.
That's a nice bike, Conan.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh man, oh.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of these.
It's fair for a cop to actually be in that situation in a movie. I feel like in a movie, a lot of times, innocent bystanders, it'll be like a nosy civilian, and the nosy civilian kind of gets it. I feel like it's rare for that to be a cop. It's like I'm checking in. Yeah.
And that's the second cop that day, and then there's a security guard at Pescadero.
Yeah,
the guy who got the full house with the cup of coffee. There's certainly a lot of authority figures. Do you think any of the SWAT team guys who are checking on poor Miles Dyson died? Do you think they may all make it out?
That's the actual LAPD SWAT team, by the way.
Right. And I think that's I think some of them make them out for sure.
I think they make it out.
Maybe to get some scrapes and whatnot. We dashed away from it so freaking quickly, like we do on this show, that I didn't get a chance to mention it. But the guy who filmed the Rodney King beating, they were filming T2 at that time, and so he actually has footage of Arnold like getting on the bike and riding off and what have you. Like it's on the same tape of like the Rodney King.
Oh, that's wild.
Which is crazy. And again, that's only like a weird artifact of. In case you're wondering why I just randomly invoked Rodney King, there was actually a reason for it, but it's one of those things that I had kind of forgotten I knew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like it happened so long ago, and it was this kind of a crazy moment in history that. Of course, he's like, oh, they're filming some, movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Great. Because he was like, filming that, like he was able to, catch this incredible, horrific moment.
They could have done Terminator 3 with OJ, but James Cameron just wouldn't believe he was a killer.
That wasn't all casting in the Terminator, Sean. They considered was OJ.
In the Terminator, one of the options was OJ Simpson, and James Cameron rejected that out of hand because he said OJ Simpson would never be a killer.
Yeah.
Oh God.
In the 80s.
Really, really weird. I mean, I think like
wrong about
that age well.
That we need more Avatar movies.
The idea that these are criminals in Terminator 2, like she's an escaped convict or she's an escaped mental patient, and he is a known killer from 1984. Like that plays so heavily into them not being able to ask for police assistance and the police being the bad guys, so to speak. Whereas when you look at Terminator 1, there's at least like Lance Henriksen, and I think it is a James, I can't remember his name, but the captain.
Oh, right.
Speaking voice.
He's a great
who
character.
Gets her like a couch to sleep on, right? Like there's good cops in Terminator 1 that are seen as helpful to, the protagonist in some ways, even if they end up getting murked. In T2, there's no real good cop that helps them.
Yeah,
there's no figure.
The best they are is like a slight obstacle, if not outright, impeding this, which would seem like insanity from the outside.
Right.
Yeah. Jumping back in 1995, Los Angeles, John's mother Sarah is incarcerated at the Pescadero State Hospital for her violent efforts to prevent Judgment Day, the prophesized events of August 29th, 1997. When Skynet will become self-aware in response to creators' attempts to deactivate it, incite, the human Holocaust. John, living with foster parents, considers Sarah delusional and resents her efforts to prepare him for his future role. The T-1000 locates John in a shopping mall, but the T-800 intervenes, coming to John's aid and enabling his escape.
Okay, so there's a lot to get into there.
Yeah.
Love all this. The setup for Sarah again tells you everything you need to know about the first movie, as well as showing Sarah's predicament, but then also showing like what she has done with this time. We see visually like this is a very different Sarah Connor than we saw in the first movie.
Yeah,
like this Sarah Connor is, for lack of a better term, jacked. Like in a way that there were, I will assure you, many articles about when this movie came out.
Jack and
good.
Not later on in the movie, but when we first see her like dead behind the eyes.
Yeah. Well, and we're left wondering when we're not familiar with the story, like why that might be the case. And it turns out she's more or less playing possum so she can get out and see John, and that's something where it's incredibly important to the plot and kind of bears attention to that, like she's savvy enough to do that, and I think that's a very key factor that almost gets lost with all the action later on.
Yeah, and the piggyback off your point, Conan, too, is that this is like a trope where it's like the child and the parent don't have the best relationship because the child doesn't understand what the parent is doing because of a previous film or whatever have you. So this is like a trope that I personally love because it also ends up giving us more in depth into the dynamic between these two characters that we don't really see because we don't see as much about like why did she become this like very alert, very savvy, like trying to prep her son for the prophecy or whatever have you. So it's it's pretty great.
My son's gonna be Maudib. There's but Skynet was like, this time I won't have to drive aimlessly around LA after looking up every name in the phone book.
There is that little moment when the T-1000 goes into his car and just types John Connor, and like the first one that pops up is our guy. Like,
I love the old fashioned like 90s 90 computers and movies where it's like you're able to type something in and then it's like ding 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 ding, ding and like a bunch of results. Like that never happens the same way with actual computers. I feel like there's never like, oh, it's the everything database. I mean, the government's trying to build that right now, but in the 90s in every movie it's like, let me just put the name into the database of everything ever. And
it's so much more satisfying.
But phone books really were like that now. It's so funny to think about. We did a phone, right, for a very good reason. We did a lot of phone book material, but that's just gone. That's just
much more satisfying to watch a computer read, like to watch these machines read, like we saw in Terminator 1, where it's like scrolling down the yellow pages, and here where we see the T-1000 read that police report in the car, as opposed to just the laziness of having a science fiction movie where they just touch computer and then they roll their eyes back.
It's just like, you see it like doing computer scrolling, just like this.
Computer almost like satisfying as those videos where you have to watch Floyd Mayweather read. John calls to warn his foster parents, but the T-800 deduces that T-1000 has already killed them. Realizing that T-800 is programmed to obey him, John forbids it to kill people and orders it to help him rescue Sarah from the T-1000. And I'll pass it off to whoever.
Okay, again, moving way too forward with like one sentence for like very important 10-minute segments of this film. But like again, we see the mimicry abilities of the Terminators, right? And then we have the very interesting back and forth of a machine talking to another machine and using things that only would be relevant to a human as a Turing test, such as the name of the dog, which is fascinating, especially in this day and age and like, everything that's going on and what have you, that it's a very affecting scene. And we also get that great reveal of, the husband is not the T-1000 and gets the friggin' spike to the head. And it happens off camera. And you see like that great thing that he gets the milk too. Or orange juice, whatever the drink is, and then that falls.
Milk.
And
it's the classic, like real, like almost like the Acme of milk brands in movies in the 80s and 90s, where they always had. I think it was like a real dairy logo, and I mean, I think when we talk about the violence of these movies, like that was
that one is bad. That was
an indelible image for young Sean to watch the piercing, and you hear. It's so brilliant how Cameron does that, because all she does is transfer the cradle of the phone to the other ear, the other shoulder, and then you just hear a clunk. Yeah. And all you're hearing is just that metal going into the cupboard. And for it to be revealed the way it is, with that beautiful pan over, and we just see the arm extend, and poor Xander Berkeley learning the hard way not to drink out of the carton.
It also sets up like this thing where the family that they put him with after his mother, who's obviously too intense and too kind of out of her mind after, as you would be after learning the fate of like the entire world and trying to stop it from reaching this fate that nobody believes that fate is going to happen. There's this absolute like nothing losers that the kid is put with as foster parents. And like Xander Berkeley is very good. Like he doesn't look the kid in the eye at any point. He's looking down at the ground every single time. He's not even able to recognize, like, hey, that's maybe not my wife. That's not my wife.
He just wants her to get out of the way so he can watch boxing,
Yeah,
and right, exactly.
So you have these, like, and Xander Berkeley is extremely good at this in pretty much every movie, like creating these characters that are in this movie for, like, to 5 minutes of all, like, time, but you still get this, like, indelible impression of this person, right? Like this. I don't know. He's a very good.
He's had a really good career as a character actor. I mean, I could honestly talk about Todd and Janelle and the step parents forever. I think it's such an interesting dynamic. The thing that I love, and Conan, you brought this up, the Turing test, where we know the real name of the dog, right? Mm-hmm. We know that John Connor says the name of the dog is Max, and then you have the T-800. You have Arnold cycle through every conceivable option except for Max and end on the name Wolfie. Right. Like this space age, state of the art AI.
Yeah.
Like
set up 1952 or something. Yeah.
It's got to come with
Arnold say the name Wolfie.
He ends up with the name of the pet that the 2 or the 3-year-old in the family would get to name.
Right.
It's
right.
Wolfie.
It's either the 2 or 3-year-old, or it's like a Nazi high general. It's like this is like
short for Wolfgang. Sure. Yeah.
I think also, he's in the movie Amadeus, he's called Wolfie by women. By his lovers.
We just talked about Amadeus like last year, so
I know that we should stick to the theatrical version of this, but in that director's cut, you do see him go out to the dog, kill the dog, and see the collar where it does say Max, and he knows at that point that he is
he's
been bamboozled.
That has been cooked. Yeah.
My favorite little wrinkle to that is also that the T-1000 cannot envision a scenario where a foster mother is kind of a bitch. Like he goes to Arnold, like something's wrong. She's never this nice. Like when he is mimicking Janelle, his thing is like, okay, I need to be maternal. I need to be kind. I need to prepare beef stew or whatever he's cooking up there, right? Like he just does not get it that maybe I should be kind of a drag here and yell at my kid. Like that does not enter artificial intelligence. So the human knows immediately that this.
Well, I mean, how like even like trying to like explain to like artificial intelligence like the relationship of a foster mother, right? Like what that is, because it's not like
what that is. If you don't already know.
Mother. It is very much not an adopted mother. Like it's not a mother that takes you in.
But this is like look at where Skynet is and where humanity is at when this thing was built, right? It's not going to know anything about that. Like how would I know about that?
But I'm just saying it's interesting to think about those kinds of relationships where it's not.
Yeah, I know you are.
Yeah.
But we blasted, or I say the synopsis blasted right past one of the coolest freaking action sequences ever, which is the LA River chase scene, which is amazing.
And the thing right before that, I mean, the great mall sequence where we finally get the tete-a-tete. We get and if you didn't see the trailers for some reason and you went into this thing fresh, to see that first scene of him absorb the bullets and then
oh my God,
stand back up, that must have blown your mind. And I think like when we go back and talk about like how they didn't fuck up a trailer or how they didn't fuck up a sequel, one of the things that they probably like the lesser movie would have like gone, how big can we go against Arnold? Let's get Hulk Hogan, right? Let's get Stallone jacked up, put him on some
Dolph
lifts. Let's get Dolph. Yeah, and like let's have that on the poster, right? Because he's finally met his match.
Yeah.
Another robot that's bigger and stronger. And that I think
King Kong versus Godzilla type thing.
And that I think that really
Terminator 2, there's 2 of them. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But like with Robert
have
Patrick,
that nose to nose, like a heavyweight championship fight, right? And I think like that again for the self-deification, I think that Cameron has pursued. That's a great moment for him to go, nope, fuck that. We're going with 165-pound like swimmer. Because Patrick,
even something like
even size is not really what matters. It's the technology. But
even looking at
what matters.
Jurassic Park, right? Like T-Rex, and then like the 3 Velociraptors, let's say, right? Like you have Arnold kind of as like the T-Rex kind of figure, and then the 3 Velociraptors kind of surrounding him. Like I feel like that is almost the dynamic of a very kind of svelte and like he's living out of his car at the time in real life, like Robert Patrick. He was not going to training every morning. He was very much struggling just to stay in the game and like just to stay in LA. So he was not eating. I don't think he was in his car. He didn't have an apartment. So he was like living this kind of transient life, which makes this character, and he's kind of dead behind the eyes too. It makes this character so perfect because it's like he kind of didn't need to do very much for that reason. And they asked him like, how do you think you'd move? And he had like all these good ideas about like, oh, I think I would come out of like, I wouldn't just, melt away, or like I would come out of the thing like a lotus, like I would a flower, like I'm flowering up.
Yeah.
People die and reincarnate as a lotus flower for coming up with that.
Fast. They said, Robert Patrick, everywhere, it was really fast everywhere he went.
And we probably all heard the story about how he kept catching Eddie Furlong on the bike.
Right.
Like that's how fast.
We can't use it. You caught him. You're not supposed to catch him.
Humanity's over.
It's crazy
exactly.
because when we think of like
yeah.
when we think of a Terminator, we always think of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I'm like, yeah, but like Robert Patrick's also doing like all the like he does little like commercials and ads where he's kind of parroting, his character and all that too. So sometimes people, need to be reminded that this movie works too as a sequel because of him.
Yeah, as like
he was an unknown. He was and became one of the most famous villains
in cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and he goes so far the opposite direction in The Sopranos, where he's where he's playing Tony. Tony.
Well, it's kind of great too because he was also the dad in Peacemaker.
Yeah, he was also he's the head of the OSS in Spy Kids.
But he's playing against type, just like how in The Sopranos he was playing against type, right? He was like a real pathetic guy. Yeah, I'm reiterating the point. Don't need to point that out. Thank you.
The thing that Conan that you were talking about, though, I think, and I want to get back to that, is the thing that Cameron does so well, where he doesn't just go, okay, here's a great set piece, this fight at the mall, like we're gonna string these things together. And when you look at like the action sequences of Cameron, they're like across different locations. They move up and down different levels. Like to start that thing at a mall and end it in the LA River.
The Galleria too. For people that are not familiar with Los Angeles, like the Galleria is a very it's a known locale that people would, let's just charitably say, not expect something like this to be happening at.
Right.
Like but it's notable for a number of reasons, but beyond it just being a mall, and it being 1981 where malls meant something entirely different. Hilariously, because we were talking about somebody who came up with malls being an inspiration for his work on this weekend with Back Rooms, who was much younger. But malls were like a center of culture, and it was considered like a safe place for safe capitalism and what have you. So the idea of, unless you're talking about Killbots or AKA Shopping Mall.
Or like us, where it's like the entire world, there's a secret underground mall where there's a secret society of doppelgangers that live.
It was right, but there was nothing like that.
No,
in '91, right? So
malls were kind of like at their peak. It
was considered almost too safe. Like I remember as a kid, like malls are kind of in the '90s seen as like like for some people, right? Like not like there's a lot of people in America who malls are great, they love malls, but it was also kind of seen as these like decadent, like kind of communities to commerce almost, where it's like one day everything. Like I remember like my parents say like one day everything's gonna be a mall. It's all gonna be in the mall. We won't even go inside. People are going to live in the mall. Like they hated the mall. They really so because it was this like center.
Real mall, it's a carousel.
Well, it's just because it's the center of like commerce and buying things and materialism. It's like
everything's there.
Like so it's like those two kind of things at once, where it's like kids spend a lot of time in the mall, and then the parents would be like, "Oh, they're skipping school again to go to the mall." This generation of kids, they're always at the mall.
Do you really think a movie, a mall like the Galleria, would even have an arcade?
I mean, I think this is one of the last years that they would. It
might be a different location or something, though. Like it just feels like that's a bougie, spend a lot of money, and to have an arcade there might just kind of like be considered too lowbrow for a mall of that esteem.
That's somewhere for the kids to go while mom shops, basically. And again, was there an actual arcade there? I don't know, because like they were on the way out, and the reason why is because of home gaming systems were becoming incredibly prevalent around that time, up to and including Game Boy, which the original Game Boy came out not too far after that. We have to talk about the LA River scene. I know there's so many action sequences, so much movie to get to, but it's badass. You get the great thing where the T-800, he's got the shotgun, and when he reloads it, he spins it. That's just cool. How like he's got it. You have a motorcycle launching itself like into the LA River. You have the truck. There's so much vehicular damage that happens here, and this is like
the jump scare. Like I think I lost him. Truck sequence is amazing. Like for him to like nimbly get away, and the amount of like Oldsmobiles that are T-boned and just rear-ended in this movie.
Yeah.
It shows you that it sets up this movie to be an entirely different film than the Terminator, which is shot pretty much just at night. And the first time we see Arnold in this movie, it's night.
It's during but then it's all day action sequences. Yeah. And I think that, I mean, that's got to be Cameron flexing a little, you know.
Yeah,
it has to be. But it works.
The doing it all at night was also Cameron flexing in a
different way
at that point, because he's like, I bet it will look cool as hell if we do it at night. And everyone's like, daytime will cost less. And he's like, I bet we can spend the extra money.
Yeah, but it's just
a challenge.
When you talk about things that stick with you from this movie, of which there were a lot, like the L.A. River chase sequence, which has shown up in other films. You know, it has 3 or 4 movies that, like, featured heavily, but never like this. Never with like this level of chase sequence, because for this movie is like almost constantly in motion. Mm-hmm. And I say that for a number of reasons, but this is a great example of the fact that you have the protagonist and the antagonist in extreme motion in a way that's like, wow, I've never seen this before. Now, granted, we've all seen it now, but like at the time, like nothing like this had been seen before. And
people love also the explosion too. Like I think that's been the most copied out of that sequence.
The
it's great. And then everyone pulls away, and then the T-1000.
You see the tire.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another example of just being like, oh, this is not your daddy's Terminator. This is like an entirely different antagonist that you have to prepare for, if you even can prepare for, differently. Or how do you prepare for something that has this kind of ability, and that, you know, just nonchalantly commandeers this truck and just absolutely destroys it and what have you. Great sequence. And crazy, because it's like, you know, one of 5 like super memorable action sequences that are in this film, right? It's crazy. So let's move on with the plot here.
So the T-800 and John intercept Sarah. She attempts to escape the hospital. Initially horrified that the T-800 resembles the Terminator sent to kill her in 1984, she joins them and escapes.
So I love that. That's a good usage. That's a good usage of slow motion as well, where you see her like traumatically reliving the experience of the first movie, and it really does a good job of putting you in her shoes of just how, especially with her staging her own breakout, which is totally blasted past in this plot summary, but like very effectively. Also, you know, getting good the liquor, we'll call them the toad liquor, right?
I think the face liquor.
Face liquor, exactly. You heard the face hugger. This is a face liquor. But then she's on her way out, like achieving her goal, and she sees the thing that, you know, killed her dude and almost killed her, and like in that moment, and it's in that moment, right? Entrances and exits, right? Entrances and exits can be so valid and interesting to building narrative tension. It's such an interesting way for those two to interact, because of course she's going to react how she reacts.
It's also a complete subversion, like a pretty much perfect subversion of the sequence in the police station in the first Terminator.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. And so great example of if you've seen the first movie, then you know, and if not, like, it tells you everything you need to know about the first movie. Okay, she's basically having a traumatic, you know, flashback.
There's during that whole sequence where, you know, I'll be back, and he rams his car into the police station. During that sequence, there's this everything is so in motion during that time period, and so like Kyle Reese manages to escape, which he's stuck with that same psychiatrist in that room.
And they get the same guy playing the same character, who's still very impressed with himself. After all these years, still very impressed with himself.
Well, he seems like he's like the guy that's gotten like so much worse in the last 6 years, because he's literally like pretty much like torturing her.
He's been on Donahue, you know. He's been on.
Yeah, he definitely is a trope. Yeah, I mean, I think that moment too is really. There's so many brilliant moments in the hospital sequence, but for him to kind of realize, while watching the T-1000 come through the gate, that Sarah has been right about everything.
Yeah.
At the same moment, you're also getting a laugh. I think that's, again, something that goes back to Cameron, where any other, well, I won't say this, most directors would have him come through that gate and then, oh shit, we got to go. We got to make it to the elevator. But for Cameron to go, let's have him get his gun stuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's just do a little thing. Have him deal with like, oh shit,
about it, right? Like he's not like he's just thinking I'm gonna go through this, and then
the
gun
ultimate perfect killing machine that can transcend a metal gate with his face and make everybody just wide-eyed. But oh yeah, he also has first world problems.
Right. And that's something that, again, so we've shown you this how are they ever going to survive this ultimate killing machine, but then it's like, oh no, he's not perfect. There's things that he couldn't prevent for in situations that are maybe the most mundane things he would never think about that could be used against him. Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And to get to that elevator, right, and to have that door open and for it to take point blank a 12-gauge shotgun blast, and we see Sarah. I mean, I think
with that almost
Linda Hamilton cannot be talked about enough as like what she does in this movie to kind of continue the story of her first character, but also have to be so different and so ready. I mean, every hug in this movie that she gives to John Connor is checking him for injury, and kind of until we get to the end of it. So she's
made herself into a weapon.
Before we move too far past it, your point about this being like the perfect killing machine, like I think when humans have a gun, like the first thing they think about is the gun, right? Like there's been so many things where someone's holding people in like a zombie movie, let's say, with a gun and holding them, and then they're not thinking about the zombies behind them, they're thinking solely about the gun, and then the zombies grab them from the door or whatever and start, like, there's those kinds of scenes in a lot of movies. And the thing that kind of really works about the gun getting stuck is like he's not thinking about the gun, he's something completely different than us. He's just like, oh, my gun got stuck, and what's holding me here? And it's like, oh, it's the gun. It's a completely different thing than I think both.
It's turning. It's an upturning of expectations, right? It's
but before we get too far past it, because we kind of blew past it, and I think that was my fault. But there was the secret where she tries to escape. Her plan is that she takes antifreeze and puts it into the doctor's neck, but doesn't only pulls down the plunger a tiny bit. So it's like, I will fully put this antifreeze into this doctor's neck, which they're just leaving around.
Yeah, I think it was like liquid Drano or something.
Yeah, probably.
That was a trope too, putting like, oh, we're gonna inject with antifreeze or Drano or
it is. It's got to be Drano, because why would they have antifreeze? But in my head, I was like, antifreeze. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's
because of begonia.
Yeah,
that's why it's because of begonia.
But no, but it's that is why. Well, I guess. But yeah, so that thing where it's horrifying. You think about like instead, because she doesn't have access to a gun, she doesn't have access to a knife, she doesn't have access to anything really. So what do you use in that situation? Oh, like you go right for the syringe, and then it's like, all right, well, I'll just blow this guy's head off with and then
we'll pump him full of this shit. That, right?
But enough of it gets into him that he starts sweating pretty fast, and like the sweat is just dripping off him during this whole scene, and he's like in the process of like realizing that he has at least some Drano inside of him. He's a T2.
He also has a broken arm too, though. Like that is going to put you into shock if it's not treated, and he has to walk around. I mean, that's such a great laugh the theater gave it when he tells her she's no killer, and she reminds him, you're dead, I'm dead, everybody's dead, I believe it, now open the fucking door. Open the door. Like he changes his tune so quickly there.
I also so I love when they do this in movies, like, you're no killer. It's like, why would you press that? Why in that moment? You're like, you don't want to do this, and it's like, they clearly do, at least a little bit.
I had the right opportunity to do it. I got everything I need. Why wait? No, don't do it like this. Not like this.
That's the thing that's going to talk the person down. Like, this isn't you. It's like, they seem to be doing it.
Are you sure? Real quick to tag on to this, it shows the improvisational nature of like the freedom fighter style tactics of just using what's around you as well, which I think is important, understanding Sarah Connor of T2 versus the Sarah Connor of Terminator 1.
And the complete failure of like any kind of establishment to take anything serious. Like, you have
which is pretty. Yeah, that's right there. I mean, that's there's no subtext there. That is the text. Like, it's like the establishment will 100% be working against you at every moment in time, and you are Cassandra. You will never be believed.
Yeah.
This is one of the classic Cassandra complex films.
I mean, it's she's taking up the mantle of Kyle Reese, who could not make these people believe about what the Terminator is.
Who, by the way, cut out of this film. He had a scene in this film cut out, and he was very angry about it because he's like, now I don't get residuals.
Well,
I'd
I'll
be
tell you
angry
this.
about that too. Yeah.
I'll tell you this: the residuals on something like this, like he would have worked one day.
And he
So
did.
he
It
would
was
have
a one day. It was a. That's
Yeah,
what
he
James
would have
Cameron did,
gotten-
one day. You know.
He would have gotten, whatever SAG scale was in 1990 or 91, whenever they were filming this. But his residuals for Terminator 2 would probably have got him over the lifespan of. Is he still with us? Is Michael Biehn still with us?
I think he is. I think he's in. Like, I don't think he was that old when.
I bet that he would have made $100,000 from that one day on Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still with us, and he's only 69. Nice.
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 And this was a scene in which like he appears to her in a dream and they wander through
Yeah.
and he's like, you must protect him, and that's how she knows John's in trouble, kind of thing. I think I saw this at one point.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
in one
leads
of
her
the
into that-
extras. Yeah.
It leads her into that conversation with the psychiatrist where she's like, I needed to call my son. He's naked without me. And then we learn why you don't leave paper clips around.
Right. Exactly.
Paperclip
Lock
will
picking.
Paperclip will get you as far as you need in life. It really will.
Really, it's a Swiss Army knife of.
Kristina, as a woman, as the only woman on this podcast right now, like, does the ick factor go beyond the scale of 10 to have an orderly lick your face from chin to scalp?
Mm.
And they cast, let's be honest, they cast the perfect guy. for
That guy.
Yeah, they did. I remember watching that. I'm like,
that got the groan of all groans from this.
I mean, I
audience.
remember again, like I was watching a lot of these films when I was like 5-6 years old with my pop-up because he loved
Yeah.
watching like horror, slasher, sci-fi films. So I remember besides Titanic when I was younger, I was watching Aliens. I was watching the Terminator movies. And I remember watching that. I'm like, ew, cooties. Like,
Well, I mean, yeah.
You're
Literally. You wasn't.
I mean,
wrong.
he gets justice.
He has that like
to take
he has
a-
that, he has that great oversized pair of glasses too that makes his face look real like.
But also, just such a prick move as the patients are sleeping at Pescadero to go through the hallways with your baton and drag it along the walls.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a prick move, right? Like, it is bedtime hours and you have to listen to something that will probably give you PTSD of a baton being dragged around the wall. I mean, that's like Freddy Krueger.
That's one of those. That's one of those tropes that I feel like they do, and it's like the asshole jail guard, right? Like that's like
Oh,
usually-
yeah.
he's like a southern guy.
It's a petty despot, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Willem Dafoe's cameo in Crybaby, where he plays like that, like guy in the prison too, telling Johnny,
okay.
God bless Dwight, you're gonna get a haircut tomorrow, you crybaby. Like, I'm like,
I mean, there's a
oh,
rich tradition of it for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
This guy did not have the raw, gap-toothed sexual energy of a Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Willem Dafoe likes you. I mean, maybe the ick factor is down a tiny bit. Like it's.
People are like, Kristina, you got a Willem Dafoe face. Your face is very flexible and all that. I'm like, I know. If I got into acting, my God, I would definitely nail the Cupid psycho trope. Damn, there's still time for me.
How about we nail the next line of this plot summary and keep it going?
Yeah, the theory uses the T-800's knowledge of the future to learn that a revolutionary microprocessor being developed by Cyberdyne engineer Miles Dyson, not Mike Tyson, will be crucial to Skynet's creation. Dun dun dun. That's cool that she's like that. She's learning.
Wait, isn't Michael Eric Dyson the guy that?
Michael Eric Dyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking Miles Dyson here, but
Yeah.
But
I remember I was like, oh God, I gotta make sure I got the
that
guy's
really
name
be
right
on,
this time.
On like Real Time with Bill Maher and like.
Okay, all right. Come on, we don't have time for this. This is Joe Morton. He's a good character. He's a good that guy character actor. This is he was in John Sayles films. Like he was in Lone Star.
Right, yeah, Brothers
and,
from
City
Brooklyn.
of Hope. And of course, yeah, brother.
I mean, I saw Joe Morton in a casting room where he's like looking over his lines from for an audition, right? And I'm like, in what world are we not just giving Joe Morton the job? Like, he's Miles Dyson. Like, I don't. That's one of these things about actors. Like, this would have been like 2017, and Joe Morton is auditioning for not even a big part. Like, we're still having him come in and run lines at like 9 a.m. And I just was kind of in awe of this guy just because of how much T2 meant for me. There was we're getting a little bit ahead of the plot, but Joe Morton breathing exercises was something that my brother and I did quite often for a laugh.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yes.
But I think, when they get to his, like, I don't know, couple $1 million. I mean, Conan, you might know LA real estate better, but like wherever that in the hills McMansion he's at.
It ain't cheap, that's for sure.
It ain't cheap. I mean, you have one of the best, I think, like 15 to 30-second reveals of who the Terminator is. There's so many times where, like, okay, he put his hand through a windshield. Okay, well, that could be PCP. Oh, he took a bullet, blah, blah, blah. Well, he could be wearing body armor, Sarah. Like, you don't know. I've seen people take 2 shots and keep running. Like, you don't see a man cut off his arm skin.
Right, and reveal the metal skeleton underneath. Yes.
And flex. And poor, like, what's her name? Espatha, Law and Order actress, has no idea what that metal arm is, right?
She's just like, what is happening right now? Yeah.
But we see that great wash of realization over Joe Morton, realizing exactly what's going on.
Because he's seen that arm. He's seen that arm.
He's seen that arm. He saw that arm today.
It was Chekhov's arm.
It was Chekhov's arm. Yeah, he saw it this morning.
Between this and his work on Scandal, Joe Morton should be booked and busy for the rest of time.
He's great.
I don't get it. I just don't get it why he isn't what you just call an automatic booking. But
they're like you're in too many Zack Snyder DC films.
Oh yeah, because he was Silas Stone, right? He was Cyborg's dad.
So there's also it's kind of heartbreaking, but it does set up like an amazing moral quandary throughout this kind of thing when like the kid runs in front, his son runs in front of him and is like, "Daddy, like don't hurt my daddy" or whatever. Which she's pointing the gun right at the kid after that, and it's like the great moral quandary of this film, where it's just like, is there some kind of morality? If you could save the entire human race, is there some moral justification for killing someone before they do the thing that's going, like, you're aware, that they're going to be the one that does the thing, but you're going back in time, or you're in your own time being told about this, and it's like, this is the person that is going to do the Hitler, right? Like press the Hitler button for the Skynet, and it's like it doesn't make any kind of moral sense, or can you morally justify killing somebody before they do the thing? Which obviously I would say probably not, but
so many good jokes in that scene as well. Like him, he took it pretty well. I think I'm going to be sick, right? And then her to go on her rant about, you men, you thought of the bomb, you only know how to destroy, and poor John Connor's like, Mom,
settle down, please. This is
you're embarrassing me in front of the brilliant scientist and the robot. Like,
we're as off track as we are in the plot summary with you right now. So,
why was he cast as a Morton Joe in Fury Road? Joe Morton.
Morton.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
So over the course of
if it's in the chat, I read it.
Apparently, yeah.
So over the course of their journey, Sarah sees the T-800 serving as a friend and father figure to John, who teaches the catchphrases and hand signs while encouraging him to become more human-like.
That's so sad. When she's like, I realize.
Makes it sound like he's doing like, West Side or something. Like it's more than catchphrases.
It also it gives such a heartbreaking thing of like.
He taught the T-800 the Crip Walk, actually. So.
The T-800, the T-1000 went back in time. They immediately started having a gang war. like drive by.
Right.
What would be the Crips?
I honestly thought you were gonna say a thumb war, which I would also be down for.
Thank God this movie wasn't made now.
Whoever wins this wins the human robots war. Let's go.
I'm so thankful this movie was made now wasn't made now, because if it was, you definitely would have some studio exec like forcing the director to make the T-800 like dab or like 6
Oh my God.
or some
Oh my God.
awful.
Yeah.
I mean, for Hasta La Vista Baby
or something.
The kid's in the car and he's like, no, 6'7", and he's explaining.
Yeah,
Oh,
6'7".
Well, yeah, because it's
You
the
could've made this movie
stiffness.
today.
The stiffness of the delivery is one of the things that makes it charming, and one of the things that makes it believable as a humanization. Tin Man gets a heart sort of development, right? And without that, if it was too nudge nudge wink winky, then it doesn't work. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize.
The thing that he's teaching him in that car ride are very like of the time. Like we don't say no problemo. I mean, that was like a Bart Simpson thing almost.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And like
I think it was a Bart Simpson thing.
eat my shorts.
Cowabunga. You tell him cowabunga.
Cowabunga, my dude.
Yeah,
That.
and you really
But
want to
it-
shine them on. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I feel like we see a lot of the same. Those old
Terminator.
lines. I feel like
Hey,
millennials do
Terminator.
at least.
If you really want to shine them on, let me tell you what you do.
But
Odd Monty.
But the thing is, John Connor's not a dumb kid. He's a smart kid who's been in these incredibly stressful, impossible situations. So he's
To adapt.
teaching the Terminator camouflage, right? So it's something where it's like social camouflage, and to hilarious effects, right? Because he kind of like doesn't nail it like at least 80% of the time, but then it's something where that becomes a part of the character. The character of how he speaks, it becomes part of the character of the externalization of his journey towards empathy, or what have you, whatever the robot version of that would be. So all of that works, and it makes sense that would be where he would kind of lean into it, because he's already had the conversation over the phone with the T-1000 killing his foster parents, and he's thinking about things from a logical standpoint of that he wants this to get over, but then also he wants to hang out with someone who's cool, which is also like a good kid thing, right?
Yeah. That's what you get, the heartbreaking soliloquy where where Sarah's talking about this is a father figure that won't beat him and won't drink and won't miss his birthday and won't and it's like you realize how many shitty men have been in her life that this kid has been subjected to, and there's a longer story than just and you
get that one line. It's almost a throwaway, right? Of just like, he's with a lot of different men, and sometimes just long enough to like learn something off of them or what have you. It's like, oh my God. So she basically sacrificed like even more than we thought, just because, you've got like some skill. John got some leadership skill or survival skill out of like being with this person, that this guy sucks or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like,
or,
we don't need
buried in the neighborhood or something. And
I wonder though, because this was at the time that Arnold was doing, he was doing some comedy. Like he was kind of, doing.
He had started to do comedy at this point.
And I wonder if the idea to humanize the Terminator was kind of somewhat inspired by like, he can do like light-hearted stuff, and we kind of make it a little jokey, but not lean too much into it because of him being like AI. He's this robot that can learn human emotions in a way that's still not completely human, very much almost inauthentic and robotic in a way.
But it plays to his strengths as an actor at that moment in time. Just as how they didn't give him too many lines in the first one, so they made him
because he was still
mysterious,
new.
but also
He was still doing.
Let's not give him any speeches,
He wasn't doing. He had just. Remember, twins. By the way, they're remaking that for some reason. But twins, him and Danny DeVito, like what a. Oh, that what a classic.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point. That he, if not an aptitude, a certain ability towards comedy that was utilized in this, but in a way that doesn't sacrifice any of the character. In fact, it helps advance the story.
And I think like you can justify a lot of that stuff by the line, he's constantly trying to be more human because it makes him a more efficient killer. He's constantly needing to learn slang. He needs to learn kind of jokes. I mean, for him to get pulled up there at the end and say, "I need a vacation," right? Like that's
that's right. Yeah.
That's the T-800's attempt at like I'm being more human by trying this
Yeah.
joke, and then
Yeah.
kind of realizing why poor John Connor is crying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a great line earlier. What is wrong with your eyes? Like,
Yeah.
what a dick older brother thing to say if it's done sarcastically.
Yeah.
What's wrong with your eyes, John?
But it's in a way of, it's that Pinocchio, like Tin Man kind of thing, you know, of just like, he doesn't really know. He doesn't know, like, and so that basically he's like, are you damaged? You know, it's something where it's like, it gets the idea of like what, the interiority of a human being is like, and that there are other things beyond like, physical damages that people have to contend with, that, is something that does not compute because it didn't factor in for any of the Skynet program or the Terminators to care about that. So, but that also shows advancement in his own development, like as a cybernetic American. I don't know how to characterize
we got you appropriate terms.
Great. So that's so basically like catchphrase of the hand signs, more human like. Great. I love all that stuff. All that works. Also, not to put too fine a point on it, but like we get that great the Mexico ish place where you get there's the arms store where you like, they pull it up and then you're like, oh, okay. And you see like basically enough armaments to take over a small country or two, and you're like, all right, I kind of see where this is going now. Okay. But then it also makes sense because if you think about Linda Hamilton's character, think about Sarah Connor as like being someone who as much as possible is going to prepare to give John everything he needs. It would make sense to like stockpile stuff, right? To have like these trap houses full of guns and.
But even in that situation, like you get this feeling that it's either an ex, like comrade or an ex boyfriend, or like she's getting teased by the guy, so it's like even then it's kind of this like sad situation where this is clearly a bunch of time has been spent with the in this place, and it's like this is this new kind of older brother / dad figure that he's able to be like. I don't know,
but he's leveraging the relationships. He's using these people for her own ends.
I'm just saying, like it's another like it does a really good job showing you this kind of sad life that this kid's leading, not really understanding what the thing's going to be, because like you can only really understand what's in front of you or what's been told to you in a certain way. Like by the end of the movie, he obviously understands, but before that, like it's just stuff your mom is saying. Like,
right. All right, let's.
She was stockpiling guns as well as like a little black two-piece with the black wife beater and the
exactly.
When she rolled out of that like changing room, I was like, oh damn, she's ready for business.
That definitely informed the looks of many girls I was interested in around this time in high school as well.
We should just talk about like her nightmare is actually, if people don't know, from The Abyss that Cameron repurposed. So when she is having her nightmare about LA being destroyed, that is actually a cut scene from The Abyss in which the aliens show Ed Harris what future human war will look like.
Oh man! So he's just like, this is too good not to reuse.
Speaking of the nightmare, back to the plot summary. So Sarah plans to escape to Mexico with John, but a nightmare about Judgment Day prompts her to decide to kill Dyson. She attacks him in his home, but cannot bring herself to kill him, abandoning her plan. John arrives, reconciles with Sarah, while the T-800 explains to Dyson the future consequences of his work.
The real nightmare.
We talked about this. Yeah,
the real nightmare being shown her haircut from the 80s. She's like, oh god, I gotta put that fucking thing on again. Like, we definitely didn't shoot that in the 80s. Can we get hair and makeup for flashback Sarah? And she's just, oh god, really?
Every time I see like a crazy wig thing now, I'm gonna think of Backrooms, where he just takes the hair off the Laura Loomer looking weird figure in the Backrooms and just puts it on Renate.
So Dyson reveals that his research.
She does kind of look like Laura Loomer. I didn't even. Oh, that's gross. I didn't think
about that. God.
All right. Now, you know what? We got that's next episode. Move on.
Okay. So
she comes up in Titanic.
Dyson reveals that his research has been reverse engineered from the CPU and severed arm of the 1984 Terminator. Believing that his work must be destroyed, Dyson helps Sarah, John, and T and Hunter break into Cyberdyne, retrieve the CPU and the arm, and set explosives to destroy the lab.
Okay, so yeah, all the lab stuff is great. Not the least of which is we get like a minute and a half scene where it's like, oh, they're just gonna be able to just come in, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna hang out and whatever. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Get out the guns. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Great. It's so good because it's like, what did you think? Like, you're coming in like 9:30 at night, and there's a bunch of randos with you, like one of which looks like a pretty staunch character. What did you think was gonna happen? So that's and of course Chekhov's Terminator arm again, as we mentioned earlier. I do like, and I think it's notable that the Joe Morton character, like, getting to have that arc of realizing, oh yeah, the work you do like causes the end of all things. Like it's like really bad, man. And like have that, we don't get that a lot. I know you want to jump in for us, but you gotta give this to me. We don't get this a lot when we have like the time travel for the person that like does the horrific thing or whatever. Oh, you become a monster. You usually get like the reaction, whatever. But you see him just like mentally like cataloging like all the stuff he's done with the microprocessor, all the stuff he's done. Granted, which the one thing that hasn't aged super well is the actual programs he's mapping them out on. But it looks like it looks like a cool game. What is that, Snake? Like where it's like, all right, that doesn't quite work, but you get a real level of pathos with the Joe Morton character as Dyson. That like he's on board. He's like, yeah, you're right. We got to stop this from happening, and we got to do it right now. And I think that's really well done and amazing work by an actor for like what is not even like a secondary character, like low end secondary character for this movie.
I really thought you were going to say it's notable that the black guy is killed by cops. I mean, we're talking like the same year.
Literally, I mean,
but also
I was going to say that, of course, it would be a minority doctor who's like, oh yeah, this is bad. This is very bad. If he was white, I was probably thinking, probably not going to realize that it's bad.
I'm disrupting. I'm innovating. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, I wasn't. Also, I wasn't trying to break it, but I was just thinking in my head, stop myself from saying. I was just like, damn, I wish some of these people would have that same thought. Like
now,
that'd be currently working on is really bad.
Yeah,
I know.
It's such a great little mathematical 1-2 when he wants to kind of like back out of the mission because the keys don't work, and she's like, no, all the way. He agrees. Flash forward maybe 10 minutes screen time, and we have that great look between Morton and Linda Hamilton where they're both pinned down by gunfire. He has the detonator. They don't need to say a word.
Yeah,
right.
That's great.
He knows what he needs to do, and she knows that he's going to do it. And she would have done it if they were in different places.
It's not just like his actual death comes at his. I mean, he dies and then hits the button, obviously, but it's like he gets to go out on his own terms. He gets to make one of the decisions that ultimately redeems him.
And we also get an echo with John Connor and the ATM hacking too, which is good because otherwise he's just committing minor felony.
Easy money.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that like I don't know, it was really just making me like kind of scream out loud, I guess, or scream silently in my head. While rewatching both Terminator and Terminator 2, is that the inciting incident that kind of causes Skynet to go sentient, I guess, right, have its own decision-making abilities, is the fact that they decide that AI is going to make the decisions on what military targets to hit, what targets in war, what civilian targets. Like, they give AI that power because obviously
things we see in the news every day.
Right now.
Every day now. It's like, have you not seen Terminator 2?
And it's about, we have 3 years before it's 2029.
I know. It's like, it's...
It seems like James Cameron was the only one. He's the only director that hasn't embraced AI, right? Because George Lucas just came out in favor of it. Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, that's not surprising. That was surprising.
I was like, what the hell? That you have a fellow director who warned us about this stuff, and you're going to be in favor of it?
It's like the incident that causes humanity to be to have our the nukes dropped on us, our nuke holocaust. That moment is that after giving the AI that power, we realize like, oh shit, it's sentient, it's able to make these decisions on its own without any help from us. We actually don't want that, and we go to deactivate it, like we do the HAL 9000, and then AI acts on its own to destroy the human race.
Yeah.
And because but it's acting in self-preservation. It's like, now that I'm here, I'm not obviously going to let you, like, I'm not gonna let you turn me off. I'm alive. So it sees humanity as a threat for that reason, that we're like, oh, maybe we've made a mistake, and it's too late at that point, because it's like, no, we're aware, like now we're sentient, now we've made that decision, and now you've given us the decision on who to kill, which is such a natural human thing. Who the fuck wants to be the one that decides who to kill? You don't, like, no human wants that. We want to kill. But,
well, and that's a way to escape moral culpability for sure. But it's a larger conversation that we need to move past quickly.
I just feel like it's just blown through in like these few sentences in the movie, and it's like these deep moral things that are like really
one of the reasons why this is such a wonderful kick-ass movie. What else is kick-ass is, oh my god, this action sequence is crazy, with like the helicopter and the freaking Arnie with the grenade launchers, and like, I mean, it's
actual LAPD SWAT team,
and how many cop cars get got, right? Like
many? I mean, yeah, you go from that.
The minigun? It's like, oh, he's got a minigun. He's just like.
You go from that sequence of like how to turn a car into Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Into SWAT coming in, and spare a moment real quick for the SWAT agent who first comes up to Joe Morton is of course Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad. That's Dean in The Mask.
Yes.
But you have that sequence, and again, this is like one of my like favorite parts about James Cameron, is him being able to kind of string these things together. You have the minigun, 0 casualties, which is great to kind of see that on screen, right? That pop up, and you're like, how in the world with a minigun? That thing is exactly a scalpel.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the least scalpel-like weapon ever. Yeah.
Going into the sequence with the SWAT team, with the explosion, which and then the guard, or the SWAT team on the front level in the foyer, with exposing him to gunfire, point blank gunfire, like the firing squad that he, threw the firing squad to shoot every cop in the knee.
Yeah.
To then get the car, hit the open road, and then you're pursued, not this time by a truck, but like, what's even more dangerous than a truck? Oh, it's a helicopter.
Yeah. Helicopter chasing. Amazing. Great.
By the way, this is because of the Rodney King thing, the Rodney King backlash to the beating. Daryl Gates, this is like pretty much the last year that Daryl Gates was in charge of the LAPD SWAT team, and he's obviously the popularizer of that, of that adventure, which he was putting it all, like, because it's LA too, like he's putting it in movies, he's putting it in in TV shows, so like, it's funny that we're having this conversation about the subtext of the police response in Terminator 2, and one of the last things that Daryl Gates, because he's obviously the one that has to sign off on that, like one of the last things Daryl Gates does before he's fired, and then goes on to go to every other police station and go, it's a great thing to have a SWAT team, but like one of the last years of his service to LAPD is the Terminator 2 year.
Which is crazy because as mentioned, Daryl Gates, it was the policies of the Daryl Gates Police Department that led to Rodney King and many like him that were not in fact filmed. And so it is notable to that dichotomy that then was later on the inadvertent ACAB movie LA Confidential sort of satirized a little bit because it is a period piece, but based off of real things that were actually happening and do happen in real life, with especially in Los Angeles with these very aggressive, reactionary authority figures that also they want to have stuff in the movies, right?
It's funny that the two things Daryl Gates was like is best known for: SWAT teams and Dare.
Yeah, that's right. He was the dare guy. That's right. Yeah. All right. Let's keep it moving here. So yeah, great action sequence. We spent a whole podcast talking about how badass this action sequence
And
is.
for all the talk about CGI and how great it is and what Stan Winston does, there's no fucking CGI with a helicopter going under an underpass.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's
crazy.
a helicopter on a freeway
An actual
chasing a van.
helicopter. Yeah.
I think practical effects are far superior to CGI in most cases.
Too bad John Landis didn't learn that in the Twilight Zone movie.
Well, the cinematographer, I guess, didn't want to shoot that because he thought he was going to be shooting a death. And so Cameron had to step in and run camera op for the scene in which the helicopter goes under the freeway over ramp.
Talking about bringing in like an almost preternaturally intelligent machine of some kind to have the moral culpability of pressing the button, right? Bringing James Cameron in to run the camera as something that may well turn out to be a
got him
death. Apparently, everyone freaked out because like the opposite of what happened on Terminator 1 and the opposite of what happened, Piranha 2 is kicked off multiple times, and he thinks this is the reason why he became like this. But James Cameron kind of had like a very dictatorial relationship to the cast on this movie, and everyone kind of lost their cool with him by the end of it because he did 56 takes of like one shot of Linda Hamilton's face.
Yeah. Getting no Kubrick with it.
It's not like he liked her, right?
Yeah, Conan, you're up.
Okay, the T-1000. Yeah, so if we assault the building, fatally shoot Dyson, but he detonates the explosive and he dies again. The deep breathing exercises, right?
Yeah, it's like reverse Lamaze. Like the Joe Morton school of reverse Lamaze.
The T-1000 pursues the surviving trio, cornering them in a steel mill, or as I call it, a factory that produces only sparks.
Oh, I hope it's a factory that produces only sparks.
Yeah, they basically went into like Mordor Incorporated.
Yeah, they drive into a Judas Priest video, and yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how the end of Terminator 2 is the same as the end of Return of the King.
Yeah.
Cast it in the fire, destroy it. But it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
They have to wait their turn.
Right. It's a line. You have to take a number. Throw stuff into the lava. Sarah and John split up to escape while the T-1000 mangles the T-800, great scene, and briefly deactivates it by destroying its power source. Very emotional moment, especially when it's your first time with the movie. You're like, no, come on, man, no.
There's so many shots in there too where it's like, how is he going to come back from that? And then he does.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Well, I think one of the reasons that he keeps coming back from it is a good point, because the T-1000 up until that point, like, doesn't really feel a need to destroy the other robot. Like, he throws him through the boutique window and he's like, okay, I'm done with you for a while. And then, these moments where he has him incapacitated in the gears of that machine, he could easily kill him there, just spend nonstop time just dicing him and slicing him. He just moves on. Like, as long as the Terminator, the T-800, is not getting in the way of me killing John Connor, like, I don't really have a bone to pick with this guy.
It's irrelevant, right? It's not the mission, right? And that's
he's not into robot on robot crime.
Well, and that's what's so interesting too. We mentioned earlier about how this movie is almost constantly in motion. It is that way until they get to the factory that produces only sparks. It's and even then they're still in motion, but it's just not constant motion. The T-1000 assumes Sarah's appearance and voice to lure out John. Great scene, but Sarah intervenes.
Great scene.
It's because we're fooled as well, and then like, oh wait, one of them's not the real one. Oh, I hope that was the real one that just.
I mean, you feel like John would know better almost every situation except for his mom.
Yeah.
The whole "I know this hurts" is such a great scene too. Putting a metal finger through someone's shoulder and twisting it.
Yeah, I know. You think so? Yeah. Sarah intervenes along with the reactivated T-800, pushes it into a vat of molten steel where it disintegrates. And that goes back to the no monster is truly dead until it explodes sort of mentality.
You're calling Cape Fears.
But we also get that great, Arnie coming up on the wheel with the grenade launcher, which he's been made liberal use of. We could, especially back at Cyberdyne, and he's got one left, right? And you get that great just. It's just blah, and it's very almost body horror. How long it lingers on Robert Patrick's faces over this way, and his arms over there, and it's all this one kind of bloated thing.
And he wouldn't have had that round for that grenade launcher if it hadn't bumped out of his hand in the freeway scene. It goes into the bed of the little pickup truck.
That's right.
And after Hasta La Vista, baby, and the thing starts moving, you actually see Arnold go back to the bed of the pickup truck and pick it up.
That's right.
And only because of that are we able to finally thwart the T-1000.
Finally dispense with. By the way, plot summary, totally missed the tanker truck with the liquid dry
nitrogen.
ice, liquid nitrogen. Thank you. And we get that amazing scene where the T-1000 frozen into a solid block of iced metal, kind of is moving forward, and a little bit breaks off. A little bit more breaks off. A little bit more breaks off. And it's such a cool scene. And it's one of those visuals that when you first see this movie, it sticks with you, right? It sticks with you in a way. And you're like, oh, well, I guess that's one way to get him. And then you see it melting, and you're like, oh, never mind. Keep moving.
Creative use of a amputee stand-in, if you watch the making of this movie in that sequence.
That's right. Yeah.
But I think Conan, that scene is a lesser movie. That'd be your big ending.
That's the ending. You got him.
You got him. You finally did the cool line. You had the coup de grace line, and you said it, and it was a callback from what the kid taught you, and you blew him up. And there's no way that he sucks. He's gonna not be good for us here.
Yeah.
And then that reform. I mean, it's just it just doesn't stop, right?
And you're like, well, then what can kill him? What? If that can't do it, what will?
It's like Aliens when they get rid of the planet and it blows up, and they're like, we did it, we made it on. There's no way the Queen alien could possibly follow us in a spaceship. Oh wait, there she is, and why is Lance Henriksen so milky?
Right. Yeah, right. Nuke it from space.
There's also throughout that final scene, right? You have the two Sarah Connors face off, and the second
Sister
Sarah
Hamilton.
Connor, the second Sarah Connor is her twin sister Leslie.
That's awesome.
It's a good paycheck.
Which they were going to originally. They were going to do either a body double or they were going to do kind of a CGI / practical kind of thing. And she's like, "Wait, I have a twin. Am I twin?"
Well, and we get twins earlier in the movie with the Pescadero security guard. Those were twins that showed up in Gremlins 2, I believe. The kind of ginger boys with the mustaches.
But there's also I feel like twins kind of goes into this whole thing about the replication of these fake people, or the AI as an avatar. It's replicating the same ones over and over again. It's we kind of do that in our own way, but on a very small scale.
Yeah,
it's always great to have twins on your set too, in case one gets
twins, Basil.
Yeah, just in case you need to have a clone or evil version.
Yeah, if Linda Hamilton needs to get fed or needs to take a nap, you can just bring in Leslie.
Bring in the other one. Yeah, okay, no problem. Pushed into vat of molten steel where it disintegrates. John also throws the 1984 Terminator's arm and CPU into the vat. The T-800 explains that it must also be destroyed to prevent it from serving as a foundation for Skynet.
Thus ended the Terminator canon, and no movie was ever possible.
No, they never made another one. Yeah, they stopped. They reached perfection.
When people tell, I'm like, what? Huh?
I don't know what you're talking. Why would they do that? Despite John's tearful protest, the T-800 persuades him that its destruction is the only way to protect their future. Sarah, having come to respect the T-800, shakes its hand and lowers it into the vat. The T-800 gives John a thumbs up as it is incinerated.
I'll be back.
As Sarah drives on the highway with John, she reflects on her renewed hope for an unknown future, musing that if the T-800 could learn the value of life, so can humanity. There you go. Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Speaking of Leslie Hamilton, I forgot she's been dead for 6 years.
Oh,
I think she died during COVID.
Kristina.
2020.
So it's more of a bummer than any of the movie.
If they were to, Linda Hamilton, and they.
We like
No, AI, they're good. Carrie Fisher, her.
I do like the maybe humans can too, and it's like we're getting empathy mogged by machines.
It is a very optimistic tone, like to be watching this movie in 2026 to be like I got some bad news.
Not looking great, folks.
They never saw him again.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about that.
And AI has never been utilized whatsoever.
Yeah.
The movie kind of starts and stops with Linda Hamilton VO, and then it disappears for like an hour and a half. She only like recommandeers it when they get to when she's watching the Terminator and John kind of connect and
pal around.
Pal around and learn about fatherhood and all that stuff. Like it is, I can't think of too many movies where it's just like the narrator, who is also a character, just like fucks off for an hour and a half. She doesn't narrate anything at Pescadero.
Right.
She's got her own problems.
She's pretty busy. She's very busy.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of going, "Hey, Claude." Yes, this is me, Claude. Would you like me to recommend you a movie or a place to eat?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there we go. Terminator 2. Letterboxd, of course, is a place for film lovers talk out with and to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films they just quote ad nauseum over and over and over again for pages and pages and pages of the same quote.
Absolutely, baby.
And, of course, it's a Bob Up Democracy. Everyone gets to have their say, not just the Siskel's and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to chime in and opine about the movies, which are collected weekly by yours truly for the purposes of this bit, where they are put on screen for Forrest and the panel to react to. That's what this bit is. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Let's go. Computer, dry my tears. Initiate protocol.
Catch it in the fire. Destroy it. No.
That's such a great little joke right there, too. Like that frame that you caught.
Yeah. The way he sees like the mannequin that looks like the
He's like,
what?
Wait, is that blackface to them?
Is that what I look like?
Is this the T-1000 getting turned on right now?
Oh, I was gonna say he's like, like when you see those like really offensive little sculptures on somebody's porch in like the South. That's his
that's his version.
Yeah. This is someone doing Silverface.
Yeah. you better not be doing Chrome Face in there.
Man, must really hate those street performers.
He's like,
good point.
Keep killing them. And then he goes.
Or even better, you can play it for comedy. The T. Henry comes in and starts shooting the Silverface guys on the boardwalk. I thought there was a T-1000.
One of the most menacing aspects of like these robots, these Terminators, is like how apathetic they are through most of the movie and most of their killing. It's just doing a job. It's just killing humans. And then this is like the one time where it gets mad. It's like this is highly offensive.
As a Terminator American,
I'm offended.
No, this is a minstrel show. Stop it.
Was the licking surely necessary?
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, it was, because we
kind of needed to be. This is a question for Kristina. Kristina, was the licking necessary to establish?
No.
Well,
what does it establish? It establishes a real freak.
You really don't. You don't sympathize with him when he gets his whole shit wrecked by a mop handle, though. Like 5 minutes later.
If Blade Runner didn't exist, this would be my favorite movie about robot existentialism.
Honestly, get it.
I do love like the just the high amount of kind of drama that goes into like Blade Runner with deciding like what is consciousness, what is human consciousness, what is organic, what is not. In this movie, it's kind of dispensed with like, I'm going to jump into the lava now.
Yeah, exactly. What if the
one
One Ring had cool sunglasses and a moral code? Yeah.
Or just like the line, like, well, now that the robots are dead, maybe we can learn some empathy, and it's like, goddamn. The opposite of the Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's true. Those poor guys who came to save John after he called out for help, only for him to order Arnie to beat them up, must have been so confused.
and you can see this like this almost demonic look come on that kid's face too, where they run over to help him, and he's like, can I get Arnold to beat them up? But then Arnold goes too far because he's a fucking Terminator. He goes a little bit too far. He's like, no, don't shoot them.
Yeah, it's like almost like
I am a Terminator. I just terminate.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like
in
him saying to John Connor, you were gonna kill that guy, and he says, "Of course." It's like the biggest dig you could say to John Connor. Like, are you a fucking idiot, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I love the addition of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very funny that Arnold did not.
What do you think I am, the demeaning commentator? No, it's a
one part of Terminator 2 that Arnold was like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. Was the fact that he's asked not to kill, and he's like, but I kill. He's like, but I kill. I'm in movies and I kill, because he's at the top of his like Predator shit, right? Like he's at the top of his game, and he's like, but I'm a guy that kills people. Like I do that in movies. Like why would I not kill people in this movie? Then I'm not an action star. I'm just like a guy. And James Cameron's like,
the guy who did Twins is just an action star. Okay.
I'm saying like he's at the peak of his action stardom, right? Like at this time, and he's like, but they're not going to get it if I don't kill people. I'll look like a pussy. And James Cameron's like, stick with it.
I think that was a lot of what Cameron had to do both in this movie and the first one, is just continuously like assuage Arnold Schwarzenegger that his ideas weren't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to say, I will be back, because he didn't think that a robot would use conjunctions.
Yeah, I will be back. This doesn't sound as iconic.
But that is not grammar.
He wanted a scene with the T-1000 where he like lifted him over his head like a wrestling move and then slammed him on the ground. And Cameron had to like say, you could do that to Robert Patrick, but you can't do that to T-1000 because he's denser than you.
Robert Patrick's like, whoa.
Yeah, whoa, back it up.
Like he had to bring in like the density of liquid metal to have Arnie move on to something more.
But I pump metal. That's what I do.
They'll think I'm a pussy if I can't lift this little man.
But they're like, he's metal. Yes, like weights. He's metal like weights. No. He's liquid metal. He's hot. I am also hot. No, Arnold.
I pump all the weight.
Exactly.
I lift him up. I put him down.
Everyone needs an emotional support Terminator.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I don't have any friends right now. And then he's just sitting there. He's like, what am I, chopped liver? I would a little too Israeli that time. What am I, chopped liver?
And he's gonna last 120 years or something? What's his
apparently
power cell?
it's just the power core is the problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You would hope he lasts a little longer than that if you're paying the big money for him.
Also, Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. That's fine.
An emotional support Terminator is basically like the plot of the Tony Award-winning musical Maybe Happy Ending. I'm only saying that. I'm only saying that so that somebody in the comments doesn't get to it first. But
yeah, that's good. That's good. Terminator doesn't hit women. He rarely throws them to the ground. What a gentleman.
Exactly.
Yeah, she got pushed far.
Yeah, it really did.
But you would think you'd be like, I have an equal opportunity Terminator. But he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna hit a woman. That's a woman, bro. Come on.
When you get knocked out by just getting face pushed, I mean that's a pretty good face push.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I push your face in. I love the line. My favorite line in this whole movie is he shoots the guy. He shoots the leg in the leg, and he goes, he will live.
Right.
Do you think that actress who got face pushed had a cast?
Do I think she died? Yeah, I think she's dead now because of that face push.
Well, he was told he made a promise, even though he doesn't know what a promise is. He made a promise not to kill anyone. So I'm assuming that he didn't kill her. But like, do you think that actress had a cast, or do you think that was part of the character?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Like,
I mean, it
in
does
real
make a
life.
really good scene when she like breaks his sunglasses.
Yeah.
It also does make the idea of the Terminator more terrifying when you realize like he can also choose to do something that makes you live, like that you have to live with, right? Like you're not going to
maim
die.
you. Yeah.
He has so much control over his actions and the strength of his actions that it's like, man, like he can choose to make you live or die.
How many like cops / orderlies do we get like thrown or pulled into walls? Like,
Oh yeah.
all
orderlies
that
are
poor
bad.
cop that's like rolling in that they steal the car from at Pescadero. Like, could he have kissed that column any harder?
I know.
It's gotta really suck to be like an orderly. Like in movies, orderlies are always evil, and it's like I'm sure lots of people take that job because it's like the job that's available to them. They're not the doctor prescribing the medicine. They're not the ones in control of this stuff. And it's like in every movie, the orderly is like one of the most evil people in the movie.
Well,
like
prove us wrong, Forrest.
I am an orderly.
No offense to Robert Patrick, but if I could shapeshift in any form I wanted, I'd probably not default to him.
Especially, if you're down in public, people be like, "Oh no." How many people he probably tells stories where it's like, yeah, people don't want to like approach me because of Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that this was a perfect casting. I know that he put in the work. I'm glad that it got him out of his car as well. I mean, the guy.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah.
The guy learned how to fire a Beretta without blinking.
I apologize to Robert Patrick, but I would, if I was a shapeshifter, I could do anything. In the mold of the T-1000, I'd choose Artie Bucco rather than him. I just feel like he was one of Tony's one of Tony's closer friends.
Can you imagine if this entire time, like the T-1000 looked like Polly Walnuts?
He's like, yeah, it's the version of it where
they'd have to do a couple takes of him running after the motorcycle.
Yeah, he'd get way out of breath.
Yeah, it's like, but there's
a
scene where it's like the scene where he and Chrissy are talking. He's like, "You ever think you've wasted your whole life?" And he's like, "No, I'm surviving." Like that scene, but it's between Arnold, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator and the kid. He's like,
All right, keep it moving. The Terminator will stop at nothing to acquire its target. It'll even disobey basic traffic laws.
So many cars.
there would be a very funny version of a Terminator that cannot. That's like the directive is like keep the traffic laws also.
Protect John Connor, but do not violate. That's like the secret fourth directive in RoboCop. It's like do not violate traffic laws.
This movie does not fucking care about your Oldsmobile or about your padlocks.
Well, because the Terminator set back the Terminator set back in time to protect the young John Connor. So you can be like, make sure he wears his seatbelt. Make sure that you don't a car doesn't hit you. If a car is gonna hit you, swerve away from you're like, make sure you listen to the speed limit because I don't want to. If you speed too fast, you're gonna kill John Connor. I must obey traffic laws. I'm sorry. You can do anything I say. Anything except violating traffic laws.
It's funny that the Terminator's heads-up display registers human casualties in one decimal place. Human casualties 0.0. Has there ever been an occasion where you iced 0.2% of a human? 80% of one?
Well, 0.2 is the leg, right? Like that's he shoots them in the leg. Shoot them in the.
Well, maybe it's like like probability of death or something like that. Like if you shot a guy in the, I don't know, in the stomach.
Shot the man in Reno just to watch him die.
I did think that was funny for it to give us the decimal point. That's a good note.
Yeah, it was, that's definitely not something I caught the first time around. Those are Letterboxd one-liners for Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Please follow the show at Movie Night and Extra on our Movie Night Extravaganza Letterboxd HQ account, where we have all the attendant reviews that we do on this very show, short-form content, bonus stuff, all that kind of stuff on the popular Letterboxd format. The Podnator over there at Always Flacco, he's on Letterboxd as well. You can follow him for his various journeys, such as they may be. There was a lot of Robert Mitchum there for a while.
Yeah.
At Conan Neutron, what's wrong with your eyes? This is me. I'm doing the highbrow, midbrow, populous fair currently, most of the way through the Criterion Challenge. So follow me along for that. as well as a few other kind of interesting blind spot journeys that have been going on between tours, basically. Sarah Connor's Guns. That's Kristina there.
Yeah, they call them those guns.
Sarah Connor's
you're
Guns.
doing your chin-ups, Kristina?
Exactly. She's Kristina on Letterboxd. You can follow her for there's a lot of Michael Jackson stuff for a while with the Jackson biopic. I don't know what you're on right now. I haven't been looking.
I did my Supergirl one, and gonna be doing the Odyssey, Spider-Man when those come out too. So.
Oh yeah, which is pretty. That's actually the
next week.
Episode after next is Odyssey, right?
Yeah, we're doing we're doing the Odyssey.
The Odyssey. And
God, they would hate. Imagine if he wasn't. People would be like, they sound Austrian.
You're taking the Atlantic Odyssey next week.
I would really like to have Arnold be the Cyclops in the Odyssey.
Oh.
That would kind of kick ass.
It's like they put the thing through his eye. And he's like,
yeah.
Smite him.
Someone's seen Total Recall going.
You should have heard last episode.
I did watch Total Recall, but he's like smite him. Smite him. You must smite him for your son, Zeus.
All right. Sean McGrath is also on Letterboxd. Follow him. What's your handle on Letterboxd, Sean? I can never remember.
It's Hey McG.
Hey McG, that's right. I can say it's very similar to your email. Not to narc you out, but good follow. He is watched a lot of movies as well, so follow him on there. Let's hit it with the plugs.
We'll be back.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short-form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
That's right. So it's Danielle DiPicciotto and Alexander Hacke from Einstein zu den Neubauten come back on for the new Hacke DiPicciotto record. They're great. Really a wonderful married couple who are a cool band. Looking forward to hearing what they've been up to. It's been a little while since I had them on. Of course, the John Roman episode is up and on in the various places. Patreon.com/Protonic Reversal, $1 a month for advance access to all this good stuff. Thursdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific for my show, Protonic Reversal. ProtonicReversal.com, free as always, but the advance access helps keep the lights on in this joint, as well as gets you the episodes a little bit sooner. Bernie Sanders model. So please consider joining the Patreon if you like the show. A bunch of cool stuff coming up in the next in the summer because we are on a bit of a touring break. We just did an East Coast run, as I outlined last week. So we just came back from the East Coast. Those shows were great. We have a West Coast run, San Francisco, Sacramento, Eureka, Portland, Seattle coming up at the end of August, followed immediately by LA for Catterall West. And then there's going to be a Chicago, Milwaukee, and Minneapolis and Madison show in September. Some real freaking cool coming up in the fall as well, but I can't speak to that right now, lest it not appear into the world. But neutronfriends.com for all that good stuff in non-walled garden format. Co-Neutron Secret Friends, neutronfriends.bandcamp.com for all the music. I was a guest on Film Suck with friend of the show Eileen Jones. We went over the works of Howard Hawks, the great director Howard Hawks, and it was a blast. And we went movie night extravaganza blockbuster month length on it, but to good effect. I mean, we went into all of it, bringing up Baby, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, El Dorado, Red River, The Thing. I mean, we went into everything, and it's a pretty darn good conversation. So if you want to know why we would spend a couple hours talking about, I think Leonard Maltin called him one of the great Hollywood directors that people don't know the name of or something along those lines. You should check that out because that was a blast to do. I treated it very seriously and rewatched a bunch of stuff I haven't seen since I was a kid, like the 1930s Scarface. All I remembered is that it was kind of scary. There's a lot of gunplay. It's pre-code, by the way, and there's a lot of hats. That's all I really remember from it. But I was like, wow, it tells a better story than De Palma in like an hour less time. But with far less cocaine. So that was really cool. That's the most recent Film Suck episode. I think Eileen put it up this morning, so it's up in all the places that normally is at. And that was great.
El Dorado is one of the great ones. Howard Hawks.
It really is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm very partial to Only Angels Have Wings as well.
Which is basically kind of like, the Angels Have Filthy Souls, like the parody movies in the Home Alone.
Sure. And also, Han Solo is basically Cary Grant in that. So it's like, Only Angels Have X-Wings, I think was one of my joke reviews, if I remember correctly. But, we talked about his girlfriend as well. It's a good conversation. I'm a big Howard Hawks fan. I'm kind of shocked we've never done a Howard Hawks movie on this.
Because
Marilyn Monroe.
Well, we had a long conversation, like the episode before with the Robert Mitchum one. We had a long, we talked about El Dorado, and then it kind of like almost segued into then the next one. You had like your Howard Hawks episode,
which I pitched her like a year ago, by the way. So I wasn't copying you. Wasn't a copy.
I'm just saying, like,
a lot of them are kind of hard to see, though. Like a lot of them are not actively on streaming services. If they are,
Tubi.
Yeah, exactly. The people's
platform.
I don't know what like the modern equivalent of going from doing like those kinds of comedies to like westerns as like the mainstay.
Well, and noir, The Big Sleep is like one of the great noirs, and it's also one of the more inscrutable ones, but it's like objectively one of the best ones. Like
that's another one that I think we've talked around doing.
It's come up every year we've done noir. But that's kind of one of the things we got into is that, screwball comedy, film noir, westerns, war films, science fiction. Like, he did all of these different genres. And the thing is, when we think of, like, John Ford or John Huston, it's like, oh, western guys or war movie guys. Like, when you think of even Hitchcock, it's like, oh, he's a suspense thriller dude, Like, everyone kind of had their beat, their genre. And Howard Hawks is kind of almost...
I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, underrated because he very effectively did. I mean, he famously wasn't even a big musical guy, and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, I think it's one of the great musicals. Not to say nothing of being one of the best movies about female friendship that ever exists.
Or when he's in the conversation, it's just about the screwball comedy as like an art form.
Which he was very good at, right?
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like it was kind of just like when I think about his name, like the first thing that jumps into my head is like the long conversations people have had about the screwball comedy and like how that influenced the comedies we have today and like the elements of it, and rather than kind of being like, oh no, there's someone that did a whole lot of different stuff.
Right, and it's also something where he. Being influential doesn't. I mean, Billy Wilder, wrote the script for like Ball of Fire and basically got his start like learning how to direct on that movie, which is, sorry to Double Indemnity, probably the best Barbara Stanwyck movie. She's amazing in that. It's freaking incredible. But anyway, listen to this episode. It's good.
Howard Hawks month to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, I was just by sheer, because it's not that we just cover new releases, like by sheer attrition. I'm like shocked that we've never done at least one of them, but we haven't. So we gotta rectify that.
I mean, I've watched multiple of them during the course of the show. It's just funny.
Yeah, sure, because it's like relevant to other things that we were covering. But I'm a big Howard Hawks fan, and it was really enlightening going through this. But I will say,
I don't even remember in my head that like he did The Big Sleep. Like that doesn't even like. because that's a movie that I think about a lot, but like it doesn't even like register.
Yeah. So, but it's almost like that's kind of like one of the. Anyway, it was a really cool conversation, and like
I do think obviously like the big personalities of like having like people like John Ford or like having people just these giant Sam Peckinpah, like these big people that are in the Western genre, like it's hard as if that's not your main thing and that's not what you've spent your entire life like chugging away at. I guess it's hard to be in that conversation because it's like. I don't know, like there's people that did like 70, 80 years of just Westerns. And it's like, how many times can you go back to the desert? And it's like, apparently like 120.
Exactly. Well, and then it's also something where, the influence of him, very heavy on John Carpenter, very heavy on Quentin Tarantino.
Mm-hmm.
The French New Wave guys were obsessed with Howard Hawks, much to his amusement because like he thought some of those guys were pretty pretentious. But it's an interesting conversation. It's someone that I think there's a critical reappraisal of.
Mind blown. I think if I remember correctly, it's A Big Sleep. The scene, literally the torture scene in Reservoir Dogs with the ear, like comes from The Big Sleep.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. Yeah, and the radio that he puts in his ear to like torture him.
and I made more than one reference to him should be a favorite for this show because we're always talking all of each other too. Because he's the king of that. He was the first one that like people just spoken very clipped, and then you say your line, then I say my line, then you say your line, and he's like, "Why don't you talk over him?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know if he'd like that." Like, well, I do, and I'm the one directing the movie, so why don't you do it? And like that's where that naturalistic form of dialogue came out that Robert Altman so definitely did in like Nashville and so many things beyond. Anyway, let's listen to this episode. I'm redoing the episode in the description.
Version of the episode during the.
It's hard not to. Sorry.
It's the latest post, the Howard Hawks one. It's in the chat right now. So
you didn't even say spoiler.
Spoiler. Spoiler. He dies.
Spoiler. I like Howard Hawks.
Yeah, he's good. He's getting good.
You gotta say spoiler. I'm a Howard Hawks fan. That's
Kristina, what do you got?
Oh my goodness, I've been streaming my ass off. Shout Out Saturdays are back. We watched 12 hours, which is 40 episodes of Dark Shadows this past Saturday. We are at the point where Maggie has escaped. She's brainwashed, traumatized by Barnabas. Julia Hoffman, which by the way was a male at first, he was Dr. Hoffman, using he/him pronouns, is trying to figure out what happened to Maggie Evans. Jason McGuire, the swindler, got his. Barnabas is, it's just, I love it. And we're gonna keep doing every Saturday. I'm starting to do some more gaming for Sunday Fun Day. I booked a big interview. This guy named Vincent Patterson. He's a choreographer. He's worked with a few people. I want to make sure I get their names right. Madonna and Michael Jackson. Yes. He's helped choreograph Beat It, Thriller, Smooth Criminal. Yes, Oppie, I know I'm talking about your favorite artist right now. Blood on the Dance Floor. I mean, he's helped Madonna's VMA Vogue performance. Like, I cannot wait to actually get a date. I'm so excited to talk to him. There's two other associates of Michael Jackson I want to interview eventually, but like I'm very excited to like.
Where's Tito?
Yeah, I'm excited to. Oh my god, Oppie, what's wrong with you? But I'm very excited to interview him. He had foot surgery naturally as a dancer, but I'm looking forward to like talking about like how did you come up with the Thriller choreography? Why? Because he's in the Beat It video. He's the guy with the white guy with the toothpick, the other gang leader.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to like I'm excited about that. And I was on with Josh at Afternoon 2 to discuss Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Hey Conan, remember the video game?
Oh man, yeah, that was a choice machine. Yeah.
Freaking Joe Pesci beating that thing as a reverse of Frank DeLeo, his manager, who was also Tootie in Goodfellas. People keep forgetting that. I think that's how Michael got Joe Pesci involved, because of his friendship with his manager at the time. Because this was right before Goodfellas. Yeah, I'm excited. And also another thing that I've been
he like
talking
danced like instead of like beating up dudes, he like danced at them and like the dance action like
and they
killed
kind
the
of
dude.
like they kind of
I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time, but
I forgot Sean Lennon was in the short film. I forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, he's the other little kid in that. I'm like, before he went anti woke. But yeah, it was fun.
The classic Michael Jackson, the dodge.
yeah.
He does turn into like a robot, though. He does get Terminator.
There is some
over extraterrestrial. Like I'm trying to explain. Like,
God fucking damn it, dude! Now I'm thinking of the Terminator 2 when you replace Arnold Schwarzenegger with Michael Jackson.
I mean, he's metal. Yeah, he turns into silver stuff, and I'm like, you know, and you think Joe Pesci keeps pursuing him, and you would think that like.
I Wikipedia'd it. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt.
Yeah.
Bubbles, Michael's real-life pet chimpanzee, appears in each level. Once collected or rescued, Bubbles transforms Michael into a robotic version with the ability to shoot laser bursts and missiles and absorb significantly more damage.
Yeah, Michael.
Why does the chimpanzee have the ability to do this? Is my question. But
if you're asking that question, Conan,
I know
then you're
what it
never
is.
going to be a. You're never going to be a true.
You're never gonna be a real jackhead.
But also, Josh wants me to come back on Forrest and Michael's birthday to talk about Ghost, which is my favorite short film of his. It to me is way better than Moonwalker because it's not as tacky and 80s and cheese and all that stuff. Yeah, so yeah, I hosted Kristina's Corner where I went in detail about my senator dying.
Yay.
I mean, oh, how bad!
I didn't even know he was sick.
Yeah, apparently he didn't know either. Because you said that, Forrest.
Congratulations, I'm sorry that happened to you. Yeah.
No, he did know.
Eddie Andrews for the Senate. Let's go.
He said, I can't die now. I got to normalize relationships with Saudi Arabia and Israel. And then he died like a few hours later.
But yeah, big things happening. I'm gonna be prepping for my affiliate anniversary. I hit 6,200 followers on
With your
Twitter.
car?
Yay! What?
I said with you. I hit 62 followers, and I said with your car.
6,200. Yeah.
If they die, they die.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm very excited for that interview. I'm actually trying to get. I'm going to see if I can get Annie Andrews, who's running for the Democrat.
She's the nominee. So the Gulfstream 3 airplane Arnold was given by Mario Casar for accepting the role was worth about $14 million at the time.
This dude literally was like overpaying. He's the first boss that's like overpaying his workers instead of trying to like undercut them.
I mean, I did the research on this. This movie, adjusted for inflation, made $915 million.
Well, it made the most money of any movie at that time, and it was the most expensive movie of all time.
It was the first one to break 300 million at that time. Yeah, so it's adjusted
and
prices.
for it to be R-rated is just bonkers. And not really a horror movie, which makes a lot of money.
I just don't think we needed that sex scene between the T-800 and the T-1000. I just feel like
that's the extended shot.
It was extended already.
No pun intended. Yeah.
Hey, all right.
And then Michael Biehn joined it.
All right. It's enough.
We are.
Ron, what do you got going?
Over the time.
Oh, I wonder why that might be. All right, Absurdity Space this week, right? You got Absurdity Space.
No, I'm traveling, so we're gonna give I think I'm gonna give Oppenheimer, our old Oppenheimer episode, so people can pregame for the Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
But we are doing another episode on Saturday. I think our time. We're gonna do back rooms, and then on Tuesday we'll be back
with the return of Renee Rune. It's been a while since
Renee Rune, and then after that we are going to be talking about the Odyssey, and we're doing an after party. I don't even know what we have to talk about, but
I think we did it all in the context of
more
the show.
NPR bits.
We're gonna keep going and going and going. So. Movie night extravaganza. Subscribe if you're not.
Sean, do you have any plugs?
You can always go to HeySeanMcGrath.com, see all the stuff I'm working on right now, including like comedic shorts and stuff like that. I'm still a semi-retired actor, currently mostly writer-director, but check out the letterbox at HeyMcG for all my pithy quips. And then Josh Dugan, who is former guest on your show and my current co-host,
Multiple
the Unkind Rewind.
Guest.
Multi-time guest. Yep.
That's right.
We just
He's filled in
recorded
for me a couple times.
an episode with the independent film director James Westby talking about Eddie and the Cruisers.
Oh
And,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Kind of got to the bottom of why Michael Paré didn't become a thing. But that is our season 4 is looming, and people have plenty of time to go back and listen to old episodes, including the one with 2 of the 3 guest hosts of this show.
That's right.
Still waiting on the
Kristina hasn't picked out. Yeah, Kristina
response on an email. Yeah. And then, as always, visit CineQuote.net, which I can imagine, wink, wink, that Terminator 2 might be making an appearance on CineQuote.
There you go.
Up to me how the hell I'm going to stump you guys, because I don't think that there's a line of dialogue in this movie that
pretty well in the zeitgeist. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard. Like, people are like, "Oh, come on, really?"
Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, I think that's a great
Like, what
recommendation
movie's that
for us.
from
Thank you.
Well, no.
What movie character said, "Oh,
I know.
behave"?
No,
Yeah,
he goes,
Yeah.
What? Wait, he goes.
What is it? Finish the quote. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Like
What
it's like
movie is
it's
this?
like the thing
What movie
before
is,
the movie starts.
What movie is this line from? Hasta la vista, baby. Oh, I know. Jingle all the way.
Yeah, I think I'll go with something like, "I'm making beef stew."
Right, yeah, there you go.
And for anybody that also that doesn't know, Conan, I'm sure that you've come across the John LaJoie love ballad about Todd and Janelle. But it is really funny. It is really great. I don't know this. His whole band is called Wolfie's Just Fine, but he wrote a song.
Wow.
He wrote a song called Todd and Janelle, and it is from the point of view of Todd, Xander Berkeley.
Yeah.
After the T-1000 has killed his wife, but before he himself has died.
Well, they just made another John LaJoie song, Federal Policy in High Schools. Show me your genitals.
Yeah, I remember that.
Want to play women's sports.
There's a line in the song of like, "Sometimes I don't see anything behind your eyes. Why are you being so cold with me tonight?" It is.
I gotta check this out. This seems like right in my alley.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's like written in this 20-minute window.
He wants to watch boxing.
He just wants to watch boxing. Yeah, it is. It is a lovely song, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that.
There's something really funny about being like obsessively like into boxing, and then you get killed automatically by your holy milk, and it just goes through your head. And you're like,
yeah, you get killed.
You don't even get to try boxing. But we'll be in the after party. There is an after party tonight. We'll see if there's anything to talk about left. So Backrooms Saturday, the Back Rooms, and Odyssey Tuesday, and yeah.